Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter Podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorda, and I'm here with my co-host, England's adopted son, Joe Habib, and we have a great show for you tonight. If you want to call in and ask some questions, you can call in right now at 323-870-3857, and we'll be here till about 8:30 or 9 o'clock tonight. And today, we're going to talk about it is finally set, Anthony Joshua versus Andy Ruiz. Everyone can now book their tickets to Saudi Arabia to watch the fight. How about that? Tonight, we also preview the Lomachenko versus Campbell showdown next week. But first, we get started with ESPN Plus. Sergey Kovalev versus Anthony Yarde for Kovalev's WBO light heavyweight title, man. Kovalev wins an 11th round KO over Anthony Yarde. The fight was good. I thought Anthony Yarde did very well. I really did. But you got to think that experience played a big part in this fight. Kovalev was able to counter the unorthodox style of Yarde with a jab that was just kind of out there all day, man. Kovalev used a lot of jabs in this fight. Yarde had some big moments. I thought in the early rounds it was close. 3-2 swing maybe in the first 5 rounds. But after that, Kovalev seemed to kind of take over for the next 2 rounds. But in rounds 7 and 8, Yarde seemed to have turned the tide by going after Kovalev's body, and he really had him hurt in the 7th round, and he really had him hurt in the 8th round, had him just about out. So much so that Buddy McGirt actually threatened to stop the fight. So it was close, man. But to Kovalev's credit, he weathered the storm, and quite honestly, Yarde did not. I knew when he was throwing the punches in the 8th that, he needed to conserve his energy, number one. But number 2, what he was doing is head hunting. And what he needed to do in that 8th round is go back to the body. And he started head hunting at the end and just completely blew his energy, man. He had nothing left, and it showed for the next few rounds. A jab is actually what knocked Yarde out cold in the 11th round. Overall, 2 things were evident from this fight. Yarde wasn't quite ready for Kovalev, and Kovalev is definitely on the dark side of his career, for sure. At the time of the stoppage, Kovalev was ahead on all cards, 97-94, 96-93, and 98-92. This runs us right into our train wreck of the week this week. And the train wreck of the week this week was Tunde Ajayi. If you don't know who that is Yarde's trainer. And Beeb and I had talked about this on Friday's show, about the no sparring in camp. I thought it was a rib. I thought maybe he's just talking. Trainers will say things that, hey, he's okay, but his leg is hurting. They want you to think what they want you to think. They want it out there, But I'll tell you what, he hadn't, I think it was pretty evident that he had no training in camp. This guy ran out of gas pretty quickly. I mean, right around the 5th round, he looked like he was exhausted. And a lot of times when he went back there, instead of telling his fighter, go to the body, it was just silent. It was just silent. I think that he really does. If Yarde is going to go anywhere after this, he needs to dump that guy, get a new trainer, because that guy just he just wasn't right for him. And I also think, the tough thing about this is he's 28 years old. He's got 18 fights, 19 fights, whatever it is. He's 28 years old. He took a hard loss here. He got beat up here. This is a tough loss for him. And granted, he was within seconds of winning the fight, but bottom line is, man, it is what it is. He got beat up here. So, if I'm Yarde, this is a tough one to come back from. So, I'll be interested to see his next fight. And meanwhile, on the comeback, and it was, everybody made reference to it prior to the fight, he hasn't really fought exactly, what we would call a stellar competition, let's say. So what does he do now? Now he's got to kind of go back to the drawing board, up his competition, and then hopefully with any luck, maybe he gets another shot. Maybe he puts some wins together and gets another shot at a title. But that all remains to be seen. Beeb, talk to me about this fight and what you thought about it, and just give me your thoughts, man.
You can say experience did play a big part, but at the end of the day, styles is always going to make fights. And there's one thing you can't get better on, and there's one thing you can't improve on, and that's genetics. And if you look at Anthony Yarde, and I don't know if I talked about this last week, but I talked about it earlier today with D-Style. We did a podcast earlier. And when you look at guys who are built like Yarde, they have that bubbly look to them, that round, those round, bubbly-looking muscles, those short muscle bellies. They have those types of physiques that are kind of like the sprinter, the fast twitch guy. You're just born with that. Like some people are born with, like I've said this many times, they're just born with a certain amount of fast twitch muscle fibers as opposed to slow twitch muscle fibers. And if you look at the guys who are built for stamina, the swimmers that have the long muscle fibers, the long muscles where the muscle attaches lower to the, to the bone. It's a longer muscle. It's not a short, rounder, bubbly type muscle. Those are the guys that have the stamina. So when you look at guys like David Haye, Jean Pascal, Anthony Yarde, they're all similar in that they don't throw a lot of punches. They're kind of athletically gifted guys. They're explosive guys. They're kind of ambush guys in and out. And they're guys that really don't have great stamina. They're not in it for the long haul, so to speak. So I think that's always going to be an issue, but you have to know your strengths and weaknesses as a fighter. The thing about David Haye and Jean Pascal is they knew how to pick and choose their spots. They knew how to pace themselves. And when you have a style like Yarde's, you have a style like, David Haye's or Jean Pascal's, the key is you got to fight when the other guy's not fighting. So when the other guy is resetting, that's when you have to go out there and try to go get it. And then when the guy's coming at you, that's the times when you kind of throw the rhythm breaker type punches. You kind of throw the punches that are going to offset what he's doing. In other words, you got to throw punches and throw off his rhythm and force him to reset. And then when he goes and resets, then you go and you follow him out there when he's on the defensive, and that's when you start unloading the shots. So he's never going to be a guy that's going to throw a lot of punches. And then the argument's going to be, oh, well, why doesn't he just lose some of that muscle mass? But then again, then you take the explosiveness away. So you're never going to be a stamina guy if you can improve upon it, but that's never ever going to be your strong point. Like certain people are just not going to be able to do certain things. They're just not built for it. So he's never going to be that guy who's going to be throwing a lot of punches. He's never going to be that marathon runner type of a fighter. And he's not really an instinctive, natural fighter. Like when you see natural fighters that can just do things instinctively, that like they have great technique because it just comes natural to them. They don't even have to think about throwing a punch the proper way. It just comes off that way because it's instinctive. It's a natural movement. They started fighting, and it just was like part of them. They just took to it, and it was just they were just good at it naturally. Anthony Yarde's not that type of guy. So the thing with Anthony Yarde is, I'm going to take him back to the drawing board. I'm going to say, you know what? Why did you wait so long? Why did you lay back? Why did you try to be the counterpuncher? Why did you fight a slow-paced fight? And I said this during my live cast. I said, you're playing right into Sergey Kovalev's hands. Now, that's not saying you have to go balls to the walls from the beginning of the round to the end of the round, but you have to make a decision. You know what? I gotta have some spurts here. I gotta pick and choose my spots. I gotta fight in spurts, and I gotta decide when I'm going to attack instead of laying back the whole round. He was in counterpunch mode from rounds 1 through 6, and he didn't start stepping on the gas until the 7th round, and that's when he went to the body. And by that time, he was already laying back and eating all those jabs and eating all those punches from Kovalev, so he was already worn down. So that's part of the reason why there was some of the wind taken out of his sails. Number one, and number two, you gotta be more relaxed. And this is where the experience comes in, is where the adrenaline kicks in. He started loading up with every shot. And again, you got to do you have to set up the power shots. You can't just load up with every shot. So you touch the guy, like Mickey Ward used to touch the guy on the shoulder to get him to bring his arm up, and then he would rip that body shot. So the first punch was a decoy punch. It was a throwaway punch, and the second punch in the sequence was the power shot. These are the things that can be taught. Like, he's never going to be the marathon runner. He's never going to be a guy who's going to be a prolific puncher. He's never going to be a Manny Pacquiao throwing 1,000 punches in a fight. That's never going to happen with him. But what can happen is teaching him how to pick and choose his spots, teaching him how to, fight at a pace that's conducive to what, his physiology, basically. And you got to teach him, what momentum is in a fight. You got to teach him, this is when, you got to jump on a guy. This is when you got to lay back on a guy. If you want to take breaks, you take a break, but you don't take a whole round off. You don't just lay back. He goes, you got to make that guy respect you. Okay, you can't let him dictate how the fight's going to be fought. You have to go in there and earn your respect, which doesn't mean you have to go in there balls to the walls. But you're going to have to utilize your gifts. Play to your strengths. Play to your explosiveness. But don't empty out the clip each and every time. Go in there, score shots, and then go back out and reset. Go in there, score shots, go back out there and reset. Don't go. You can't be all or nothing. And he was an all or nothing fighter last night. He laid back and was hoping that Kovalev would walk into that left hook, and it didn't happen. So then he changed up in the seventh round. But like I said, it was too late to change up at that time because he was already being worn down by that jab of Kovalev. So you had to take that jab away from Kovalev. How do you do that? You got to go in there and you got to keep smacking him around on that arm so he can't throw that punch. So touch him with the jab a little bit, and you got to touch him with the right hand a little bit, and you got to kind of knock him off balance. So instead of looking for that home run left hook like you were doing by laying back and hoping he was going to walk into it, you needed to throw those rhythm-breaking, disruptive type punches to stop his momentum. You allowed him to be the ring general. You allowed him to dictate the pace with the jab. So how do you take away that jab? You got to jab with him. You got to jab with him, and don't even look to land a perfect jab. Jab to knock him off balance a little bit. So while he's jabbing, you hit him on the shoulder with your jab, and you're pushing him back, and you're twisting him, and you're knocking his jab off target just by making contact with him and giving that little tap, that little nudge on his shoulder. You see what I'm saying? So again. They say punch with the purpose. And when people say punch with the purpose, everyone assumes that the purpose is you got to punch through the guy and hurt him. No, punching with the purpose means you got to set up your shots, number one. And number two, you got to disrupt what the other guy's doing. You got to stop the other guy's offense. You got to run a defensive scheme on him, basically, while you're being offensive. So you can punch. The term get off me punches, the term throwaway punches. Those punches are very key in the sport of boxing because nobody can go balls to the walls from rounds 1 through 12 for all 3 minutes. So he's got to learn how to throw those punches that maybe don't have bad intentions, but they disrupt rhythm and they score points. So he's got to mix in the power shots. He's got to know when to mix in the power shots, and he's got to know when to take a little bit off the fastball. And that's the thing. But he's never going to be a slick, technical guy. He can be a little bit better. He can sharpen up a little bit, but he just doesn't have that timing, that instinct to really be a real proficient, natural, pure boxer, in other words. So I'm not saying take away your gifts, not take away your athleticism, not take away your explosiveness. I'm not saying lose all your muscle mass, so then now you're not going to have stamina, and now you're not going to have explosiveness, so now you have nothing. No, you stick with what got you there, but you have to be a little bit more sophisticated in the delivery system on how you utilize what got you there. You can't do it the same way because you're in there with a different guy who's more sophisticated. Okay? So take a little bit off the fastball and don't throw the fastball away, but just take a little bit off the fastball and then throw it sparingly. Don't throw it three, 4 punches in a row, in other words. So that's what you got to do, in my opinion.
So let me ask you, Beeb, you said that, like, I mean, he's not the distance guy. He's not, like, built for, like, that stamina and everything.
No.
But this is kind of a stamina sport, no? I mean,
well,
so he has to, so what you're saying is he has to, instead of, like, throwing everything in a single shot, he's got to take some of that off.
Got to take some of that off, and he's got to throw, he's got to learn how to place punches. Just place the shots. You know what I'm saying? Like a pitcher, if he keeps throwing the fastball, what happens? He can't finish the game. He throws his arm out, right? So what's he do? He mixes in other punches, other pitches. Excuse me. That's what this guy's got to learn to do. Now, to your point, yeah, it is a stamina sport. That's why you need to pace yourself. That's why you need to pick and choose your spots. That's why you have fighters who don't throw a lot of punches. Like Bernard Hopkins, when he got older, what did he do? He wasn't the executioner anymore. What did he do? He had to change his style because he knew what he did in his late 20s could not be done in his late 40s. So you make adjustments. So you try to minimize your weaknesses and maximize your strengths. Same thing with Canelo. Remember when we talked about Canelo? Why doesn't he fade anymore? Or he's gotten better with the fading. Why? Because he'll slow certain parts of the round down, and he'll pick up certain spots, and then he'll pick it up in certain spots. So what Canelo's learned to do through experience and just through instinct is he paces himself a lot better. I don't know if you've noticed that. Even in the first Golovkin fight, he would pick and choose his spots. He wouldn't kind of just throw a ton of punches at once. He would slow the pace of the fight down. And he's very good at doing that. And I'm not saying Yarde's got to slow the pace down, but what he's got to do is he's got to pick it up, and then he's got to kind of taper it off a little bit, pick it up, then taper it off a little bit, pick it up. So now he's got to keep his opponent guessing. You can't just lay back and then just wait and hope for a guy to run into your left hook, which he was doing, and then all of a sudden go on the opposite end of the spectrum and then just go balls to the walls. You see what I'm saying? It's like you start up a car. When you start up a car and you get the engine running, do you floor it right away, or do you kind of ease into it and let the car warm up first? He went from one extreme of just laying back and doing nothing pretty much and hoping Kovalev was going to walk into a big shot. And then when that wasn't working, he waited to the seventh round, and then he went balls to the walls all the way out, and he blew his wad. So you got to do that. You got to learn how to do that in spots. When the other guy takes the break, that's when you jump on the gas. And then when the other guy's coming forward, that's when you start throwing the softer shit just to try to disrupt rhythm and keep him off him and just place the shot. Okay? But when you want to go balls to the walls, do that when your opponent's reset, and do that off of a feint, do that off of a softer punch, do that. Set that shit up. Instead of just going like thinking that you're going to just walk to the guy and just wing shit. And that's what I saw. And this is what I mentioned in this fight. The way, in the lead up to this fight, when I was breaking down his previous fights, is I don't see any creativity to this offense. I don't see any sophistication to this offense. All I see is a guy walking forward, steamrolling guys because he's bigger, faster, and stronger. What's going to happen when you go into a fight with a guy who has a high boxing IQ and that shit doesn't work? And this is what happens. So that's why you got to kind of learn how to harness that explosiveness, and don't show it right away. Give that explosiveness a surprise factor, a surprise element. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Try to set that up and catch your opponent off guard with it, because then if you can use that explosiveness and catch your opponent off guard with it, then you maximize the effectiveness of that explosiveness. You see what I'm saying? If I know that you're just gonna jump at me and that's your game plan, and you're not making me think, then all I know is this guy's gonna load up with the hook. I step around, I come over the top with the right hand. That's it. So, but if I'm guessing when you're gonna do it, it's like I told you before. When you get up to bat against a pitcher versus when you get into a batting cage and you see that thing come around, it's hard to gauge when that thing is going to loop around, and that's why it's harder to me to getting a batting cage and hit a pitch as opposed to a pitcher, because you can see the ball come out of the guy. You know when the pitcher pulls his arm forward and he fully extends his arm, you know the ball's coming out. It's harder. You can't see that lever come up in a batting cage, right? You can't see it. So it's hard. It's almost hard to really gauge that as opposed to seeing the pitcher. So if I know what's coming at me, when it's coming at me, and the rhythm in which it's coming at me, and the pace it's coming at me, I don't care how fast it is. If you tell me that this is going to be coming down the road at 90 miles an hour, right? And I know ahead of time it's coming, what do? I get out of the street. I can't get hit. But if I don't know it's coming, I'm in the street, guess what? I'm a fucking mashed potato. So that's the thing. It doesn't matter how fast, how explosive. If I know it's coming and I'm sophisticated enough to pick up on the rhythm, the timing, and just the attack patterns in general of how this stuff is coming at me, then I'm gonna be able to evade it. That's the thing. So his offense is not. It's too predictable. It's too one-dimensional. So he could change those things, in my opinion.
Let me ask you. It was real surprising to me that, we both knew. We both talked about this on Friday. Kovalev was going to use the jab. I mean, that's a no-brainer. We know that he's developed that. We know he's going to use it. He's going to try to box. Why on earth did they not spar for this fight? I mean, I can't think of an intelligent reason, unless you were injured, that you didn't spar for this fight. And if you were injured, you probably shouldn't have stepped in there with this guy. Why on earth did you not spar for this fight? Because with the sparring session, you could have used the guy with a jab. You could have offset this. You could have learned how to do it. When you're just doing mitts and everything, you're not going to learn it that way. The only way to learn how to really avoid punches is to get punched. That's really the only way.
That's how you develop instinct.
Right.
But
it's the only way.
But here's another thing. I don't know if you picked up.
To get in front of a live body.
Yeah, I don't know if you picked up on this at the end of the fight during the post-fight interview. He basically kind of sacked his trainer, slated his trainer. Maybe didn't intend to slate his trainer, but he slated his trainer. We're probably not even knowing it, but he insulted his trainer and he insulted his team. Because he said, you know what? Goes, I don't have the experience. I need the experience. I wasn't, I wasn't prepared. Like I wasn't ready for this moment. I'm new to all this, and just like my training team wasn't ready for this, they were new to all this. So basically, when you're saying that about your training team, that basically says that they weren't ready to prepare you for the moment. Now, obviously, you, like he says. Because he made a point to say, it wasn't just me that's never been here before. My training team has never been here before. So that's the thing. Now, if you want to get to a certain level, you got to surround yourself with people that can get you there. That people that understand what needs to be done to get to that level.
People that have been
exactly. So he basically said that even his trainer and his team had no experience either. So why would you have people with no experience around you thinking, in other words, if I want to build a house and I want to build the best house I can build, am I going to hire a guy that builds tree houses, or am I going to hire a guy that has experience building real homes? See what I'm saying? So he knew going in that this wasn't the best training situation for him. He knew that this wasn't the best trainer, the best training team for him. He knew all this stuff going in. You would have thought beforehand, because this was the biggest fight of his life, he would have brought someone in, a high-profile guy in, brought a Robert Garcia in, or even bring in who's a guy, a McGuigan in or someone like that, or bring someone in that has taken someone else to the dance. Joe Gallagher. Joe Gallagher is an outstanding. He's a great trainer. He would have been a phenomenal trainer for him. Joe Gallagher. Why not bring him in?
Yeah.
Why not bring him in?
Anybody who's been to the dance before. Why? I don't understand, what was the rationale for this? I mean, this guy, was he trying to prevent injury? What was this rationale?
But here's the thing. This is the thing that aggravates me about the whole thing. You knew going in that this was a huge task. You knew that this was going to be the toughest fight of your career. But you admittedly, intentionally did everything wrong here. You had a guy who wasn't ready for the moment. You had a trainer that wasn't equipped to prepare you for this moment because he didn't have the experience to do it. And then you yourself didn't have the experience to do it. But you kept saying, oh, I don't need to watch tape of this guy. I don't need to do this. I don't need to do that. I don't need to do this. How do you know you don't need to do these things? You've never been in this situation before. How do you know what you need and you don't need? That was fucking mind-boggling. That's like me. Oh, I'm going to go take the bar exam today. Everyone says that I should study, but I don't think I need to study. That's what everyone else says. I don't have to read that book. What the fuck am I going to read that book for? You know what I mean? It's
like asking a guy on welfare how to become a millionaire. You know what I mean? He doesn't know. He hasn't been there.
And what did Eubank do? He's learning now. He's got a trainer. Like before, he was going through the motions, training, basically saying he trained himself, and he had to learn the hard way. And you could say what you want. You could say what you want about James DeGale. That's fine, but that was the best I've ever seen Eubank Jr. box in my life. He looked great in that fight. He looked phenomenal. He had a real fucking camp, and this is what you need. You need a real camp with real trainers around you, real people that can help you. Okay? All I heard was, oh, we don't need. This is what I heard throughout the whole buildup of this fight, and this is why I knew he wasn't going to win. We don't need to do this. We don't need to do that. He kept saying that all he kept talking about is things he didn't need to do. It's like, what did you do in camp? What did you do? What did you do? Did you just go there and hit bags? What the fuck did you do?
I remember they asked Emmanuel Stewart one time, and it was about James Toney, because James Toney is notorious for hating to do road work. He hates it. He said he hates road work, but he loves sparring. That's all he wanted to do was spar. And they asked Emmanuel Stewart. He said, just go with it. He said, go with it, because he said, I'd rather have you spar than do yard work. That's how or not yard work, excuse me, road work. I'd rather spar than do yard work too. Yeah, I'd rather spar than do yard work also, man. I'm not big on yard work. But so that's how important it is to spar. I've heard of instances where people have said, hey, we didn't spar a lot for this camp, because of injury or something like that, or because we're trying to protect this, or he had a broken whatever, or a cut, so you can't really spar that much. But I've never really heard of it purposely, we're just not going to spar. It just blew me away. And then I thought about it. I was like, this has got to be nonsense. It's got to be nonsense. It's just got to be his trainer just being ridiculous, trying to troll. But, yeah, man, apparently it wasn't. Right around, like I said, the 5th round, he was out. He was out of gas. And after that 8th round, I would say the fight was lost in the 8th round. That fight was lost. I said to myself, because even when he had Kovalev in trouble, he had his mouth wide open. And I said to myself, if he doesn't get him out in this round, he's in trouble. I said that to myself. Yeah. And you can hear me saying it during the live broadcast. I said, I think, as soon as the bell rang, I said, I think Yarde punched himself out. That's what I said. Right after the 8th round, I said, I think he punched himself out. Thank you so much, Corey Lee. We appreciate it, man. Yeah. And I was telling my dad, we're watching this fight, and I says, Yarde needs to go to that body. In the 8th round, when he had him hurt, you could see him headhunting. He's missing a lot more shots. I said, man, he needs to go to the body now. He's got to start going to the body, and he's got to be careful because he's tired. We knew he was tired in the 5th round. What's he going to be after this? He expended a lot of energy.
Did.
And you seen it.
Sure did.
You seen it. I mean, that was the way it was, man. So, yeah. Corey Lee said he picked Kovalev by unanimous decision. But you know what? Now I picked Yarde by knockout in the 8th round because I knew Yarde wasn't going to win a decision. And so when that 8th round hit and I see this going down, I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
I picked Kovalev.
He was right there.
I picked Kovalev by 8th round stoppage, so I was off by a few rounds.
Yeah. But all in all, man, it was an enjoyable
It really
fight.
was.
It really was. We can go back and critique Yarde's performance, which that's what we do. But, I mean, for as much experience as that guy had, for the people he fought and everything, for him to go to Russia, hey, man, he put on a heck of a show.
But hindsight is 20/20. You have to ask. You have to ask yourself one question: if someone offers you $1 million to do nothing, do you take it? But the flip side,
I do.
But the flip side to that is, okay, you take the step aside, but then you lose your ranking. Like, what happens to you? Do you get pushed back to the bottom of the line again, the back of the line again, and you have to start over? Or, like, how long do you have to wait? Now, this is what I would have done. I would have taken the $1 million, and I would have got him some mid-level fights. I would have tried for a title shot at the end of next year. That's what I would have done.
Let me ask you, like, do we know what he made for this fight? Because I can't imagine it was $1 million.
I don't know.
But I don't know.
You could say props to him all you want, but it really wasn't the right thing to do.
No, absolutely not. I mean, if we're Monday morning quarterbacking it, I mean, listen, if he knocks him out in the 8th round yesterday, I think we're all singing a different tune, but he didn't. Yeah. He didn't. That's but
I did say right from the beginning he should have taken the $1 million. I just no disrespect to the guy at all. I mean, I gave him credit. He tried. He tried. When he was in there, he did not give up. He was being frustrated. He was being worn down, and he hung in there to the end. So we have to give him credit for that, and I will give him full credit for that. But what frustrates me is the decision making in terms of the preparation, and also the management team telling him not to take that $1 million. I mean, you're getting $1 million to do nothing, and you probably didn't get $1 million for the fight. So you're getting paid more to not fight than you were to fight, and I don't know, man. This is prize fighting.
John Doe in the chat just said he did get over $1 million. He said he got just over $1 million for the fight. So I still would have took the $1 million a step aside.
So you got just a little more to fight, and he would have got almost the same amount to not fight. Ask yourself, what would you have done?
Yeah.
Hey, you know what? You don't have to work.
And,
your boss walks up to you right now and says, you know what, Eric? We're going to give you the rest of the year off, but guess what? You're still going to draw a check every week. What do you do?
Late.
What do you do? Honey, we're going on vacation. We're doing this. We're doing that,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's the thing. I mean, that's the thing. Like, and you said, well, what does he do? He takes the $1 million, but that comes with losing his ranking and going back. I think that's a solid move.
But here's
because he takes the $1 million, he goes back and ranks because that's where he needed.
But here's the thing: he's connected. He's connected with Warren. He's connected with BT Sport. Sure. Warren's got a phenomenal relationship. Him and Aaron both have a phenomenal relationship with the WBO. Yeah. So they probably could have positioned him later. It wasn't like. I questioned that during yesterday. I was saying, well, what happens if he doesn't take it? What's going to happen? But then I thought about it more, and I'm saying to myself, what about Warren? Warren's got that great relationship, like I said, with WBO, and he's connected to a big time promoter, so he's going to get back. He would have gotten back there. And this is what someone needed to tell him when that $1 million was on the table. He said, you know what? You're going to get back here. Don't worry. Let us prepare you a little bit better. Take that $1 million. You got to take that $1 million. Let's take a poll in the chat real quick. Would you have taken the $1 million, or would you have fought? I would have taken the $1 million. 100%. What do you? 100%. Tell us in the chat what you would have done.
Not
be honest.
Mention, the thing is, okay, so he steps aside, gets the $1 million for Canelo and Kovalev. Canelo wins that belt because Canelo will win that belt. Canelo wins that belt. You think he's staying at 175? He ain't staying at 175, son. He's going back down. Now the belt is fractured. Now you can step in.
Maybe fight someone
after
softer.
You've already had a fight.
Maybe fight someone softer.
And get somebody. Exactly. Right? Exactly.
Wow.
You can Anthony Joshua.
Never thought about that. Man. Never thought about that, Eric.
Yeah, because he's not staying up there.
Excellent point, Eric. I never even thought about that. That even makes it an easier decision, right?
Earthquake says just 1 million because he's just rolling.
Yeah, okay.
You know I mean? So after the fight, we heard a lot of talk about Kovalev and Canelo and everything like that. We think that's the fight, and Canelo, I believe Canelo's scheduled to fight November 2nd. That's the fight he's gunning for. I think this fight can probably happen on November 2nd. Odds makers have already installed Canelo. He is already favored at -400 to -800 at certain books. Canelo is a monster favorite in this fight. And let me tell you what, this fight between Canelo and Kovalev is not even close. Based on what I saw last night, it's not even close.
So funny. I was talking to D-Style earlier. He thinks Kovalev could win. He's picking Kovalev.
Yeah. He's picking Kovalev? Wow.
You know what he thinks? He actually made a strong argument. The thing is this. He said, well, if Golovkin can hit Canelo and Khan can hit Canelo, can't Kovalev hit Canelo too? I guess the big thing with him is the punch resistance. Like Kovalev's going to be 190 the night of the fight. And if there's no rehydration clause, because he said if there's a rehydration clause, then he would change his pick. But if there's no rehydration clause and Kovalev comes in at 190 the night of the fight, how is Canelo going to deal with being hit by a guy that's like probably at least fight night 10 pounds heavier? My rebuttal to that was the thing about Canelo is he rolls shots beautifully. He sees these shots coming at the end.
Look at him in that Jacobs fight. He was almost untouchable.
Yeah, I'm saying his defense is so good. Even when he does get touched, he kind of can catch the blow at the end, and he rolls punches beautifully.
Hard to hit him.
Yeah, he's hard to hit him flush.
It's hard to hit that guy flush.
So I just think when you talk about Kovalev and the size and this and that, I don't know, man. I mean, Kovalev's got no inside game at all. Zero inside game. And Canelo's got a really good inside game. It's getting better and better, too, as time has gone on. He's really developed it because he's not moving as much on his legs. So I just think Canelo has such an advantage on the inside. I mean, he makes himself such a compact target. And also, too, is he moves his head so well. And like he rolls punches, like we said. He's just very, very solid defensively. And he knows how to fight at his own pace. He knows how to control the pace of the fight. He knows how to slow the fight down. And he knows just when to pick and choose spots. He knows when you know what I'm saying? He knows how to get his shots off, knows when he can land. He's just getting so much better as time has gone on. Even though he doesn't dominate guys, no one's ever dominated him either. That's the rebuttal to that. Oh, he never every time he steps up, he never dominates. Okay, but they're not dominating him either. Right? They're not dominating him either. So he's good enough to make very good fighters, maybe possibly great fighters, not dominate like Canelo. I mean, Golovkin, you could say, oh, he didn't dominate Golovkin. Golovkin didn't dominate him either. Golovkin was supposed to destroy him. Destroy him.
And that didn't
Whether
happen.
you think he won or not, I only had Golovkin win.
He didn't get destroyed.
I only thought Golovkin won 115 and 113. I had the fight close.
Yeah.
You can make. What did
I have? 116,
112, 115, 113. But either way, he didn't. Golovkin didn't blow him out either. So these guys,
yeah, and I had to draw that second fight, but I didn't have Golovkin winning. I couldn't make a case for Golovkin winning. So
people can say whatever they want. Oh, Canelo's never really beaten anybody thoroughly. No one's ever beaten him thoroughly either. No. So what's that say about him?
The only one you could really make a case was with Mayweather.
Oh, yes, that's true.
But it was
Mayweather. That's it. I'm sorry.
But that being said, it was a points win. I mean, yeah. I mean, it was one-sided. I mean, it was one.
That was the only time. Other than Mayweather, no one's ever dominated him.
Yeah, after that fight, that was it.
I forgot about Mayweather.
And he's been in there with the who's who.
Yes.
Yeah. And I tell you what, man, I don't think there's any way. I think this is a mismatch. I really do. I think this is a big-time mismatch. I don't think there's any way.
I think Canelo stops.
The Kovalev that we saw last night, the Kovalev pre-Andre Ward, we got to fight. That's a great, great fight, man. Kovalev now, absolutely not. I think who do you think gives Canelo the better fight, Triple G or Kovalev?
Triple G.
I do too, without question. Without question, man.
Kind of interested in this Triple G Derevyanchenko fight. I think that's a good fight.
That's a good fight too, man. That's an interesting fight. I mean, you got to favor Triple G in it, but again, man, Triple G, he's he's on the dark side of his career too.
Derevyanchenko can fight though, man.
He's on the slide.
Derevyanchenko can fight his ass off.
What is he? 13-1?
Something like that. I thought. Believe it.
Is that a bunch of amateur fights?
Believe it or not, I'm in the minority. I actually thought he beat Jacobs. A lot of people don't agree with me, but I thought he beat Jacobs.
It was close. It was a good fight. It was a very good fight. I mean, listen, man.
One judge had him winning.
For what Jacobs had on the line there, that was a real close fight. That was not a pushover type fight. I think I had Jacobs winning that fight, but it wasn't a blowout, put it that way.
Not a blowout.
No, and you know what? And the fact that you had Derevyanchenko winning that fight, I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Not at all.
Minority, but
all right.
That's what it is.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's talk about DAZN. The fight's on DAZN. Juan Francisco Estrada versus Dwayne Beeman for Estrada's WBC Junior Bantamweight title. Estrada wins by 9th round TKO. Listen, man, I thought it was a really, really good fight. Beeman came in. He was outgunned in there, but he came to fight, man. I thought he did a great job in the first round. I actually gave him the round. But in the second, he got caught. It looked like he got caught with a left hook. And that left hook for Estrada was landing all night. Every time they came in, he was landing it. Second round got dropped again with a right hand, it looked like. Beeman was very game, man, but Estrada was just too technical in there. He is a very technical fighter, man. And he was able to just do what he wanted, honestly, man. Dropped him again in the 7th, and ultimately the fight was stopped in the 9th. And it wasn't like a brutal, like he was up against the ring. He was just taking a lot of shots, and I think it was a good stoppage. He wasn't going to win.
Yeah.
He was way behind on the cards. He wasn't going to win. And Omar Rodriguez, you just hit it on the head. He says, "Does Beeman remind you a little bit of Junior Jones?" Yeah, he kind of did. He kind of did. Where he's more of an athletic fighter. You know what I mean? He's more of an athletic guy than he is a fighter. He's got a lot of, I mean, if you watch, you see Francisco Estrada just break this guy down, technically. Beeman doesn't have that. But what he does have is speed. He's got athleticism. But, man, that only takes you so far. What are your thoughts, Beeb, on Estrada?
Estrada's definitely a very, very good fighter, very skilled fighter, very technical fighter. He's a guy that he's one of those guys that I talk about. He's a pure boxer. He's a pure fighter. He's a natural fighter. But I almost got the sense last night that he was playing around with Beeman. Seems like he was toying with him a little bit. I don't think he respected the power of Beeman. Because I've seen him fight a lot more defensively responsible than what he showed last night. It was almost like he was welcoming the exchanges because he went out of his way to make it an entertaining fight. But you got the sense that he could have taken him out whenever he wanted to, number one. And number two, Beeman just didn't have the firepower to hurt him. And he knew that, and that's why he fought the way he fought, in my opinion.
Well, and, Estrada, he's not like a one-punch guy, but again, he pinpoints those shots. He's so technical.
He's like a fucking sniper. Really is.
He knows where to hit, when to hit, how to hit.
He's a sniper. He's a sniper,
man. You got to have high-level guys going against Estrada, man, if you're going to have a chance. I mean, you got to be very technical.
And he knows how to shorten them shots up on the inside, boy. And
those are the fighters that are so dangerous. Yeah, you're right. And he shortens those shots on the inside, but those are the
rips
fighters.
To the body beautifully. He's just fucking dangerous.
Yeah. Those body shots that he ripped, man, those left hands were just...
He is just a fluid combination puncher.
Yeah. Reminds me, when you talk about lighter weights like that, I always think of Ricardo Lopez, who was probably one of my favorite fighters ever, man. He was just so fluid. If you wanted like a textbook boxer, if you were going to make a mold, that was the guy you're going to make a mold of. You know, if you're going to clone anybody in boxing, that was the guy.
Yeah.
Because he was amazing. He was textbook. I mean, perfect boxer. Never seen anything like it. I haven't seen anything like it since, man. He's incredible. I would like to see Dwayne Beeman fight again. I really would. Even after that, I would like to see him fight again because he was actually a fun fighter to watch. It's a fun fighter to watch. What's next for Estrada? I heard Cal Yafai.
That's a good
unification set up with Cal Yafai. That's a good fight. I don't think Cal Yafai gets him. That's a good fight.
That's a good home for him over in the zone too, Estrada, because now he's going to be able to get the fights that he's going to get fights now. He's going to be busy, and this is the situation that I think he needed to be in. And you can say what you want about the zone, but the zone's been a good deal for a lot. It's been very good for a lot of fighters. Like a guy like what's his name there? The guy that's gonna fight Gervonta Davis, Tevin Farmer. Like where else is Tevin Farmer gonna make the money that he makes fighting anywhere else? You know, Devin Haney, where's he gonna make the money he makes fighting? You know, he's not gonna make that money fighting on Showtime. So the zone's a good home for a lot of these young fighters.
Yeah. Omar Rodriguez in the chat says, he says, do you think Finito was a better fighter than Chavez? I do. I think technically he was definitely a better fighter than Chavez.
Deserves to be in the conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. But Chavez is Chavez is like that legendary. He's like Superman in Mexico. You know what I mean? He's like Captain America. He's like Michael Jordan.
Lopez fought at.
Yeah, he captured the people.
Yeah, Lopez fought at 105 and 108. I mean, that's.
Sure.
I mean,
that's a tough ask.
People just aren't going to take to those weight classes. You know what I mean? No one really.
Right.
It's a shame, but it is what it is.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, but Chavez was a much bigger star.
Yeah.
But I think that Ricardo Lopez was definitely a better fighter. I think he was a better boxer.
And the only reason,
skill set wise.
The only reason why, like I said, you don't know, people don't talk about those things is because of the weight classes he fought in.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not to diminish any of Chavez's skills too. Chavez was a brilliant fighter too. But man, textbook wise, man, you can't get better than Lopez.
No, not at all.
So, all right, from textbook boxers to non-textbook boxers. Filip Hrgovic versus Mario Heredia, 10 rounds heavyweights. Hrgovic scored a TKO in the third round here over Mario Heredia. Wasn't the greatest fight on the planet. Heredia looked like he had no business in there. He looked like he didn't train, but whatever, man. Listen, Hrgovic's got 9 fights. 9. So I'm willing to cut him some slack here. I've seen people saying that he needs to step it up. Again, guys, maybe we got to pump the brakes. He's got 9 fights. Beeb, any thoughts on young Hrgovic? Oh, Beeb got disconnected. That's all right. He'll call back. That's the way we roll here. So, Hrgovic, Tommy Boxeo said, is Hrgovic ready for the top 10? Nah, I don't know. No, absolutely not. He's not ready for the top 10. No way. No way he's ready for the top 10. He's got a lot of work to do. If you guys seen him last night, and he was, I don't know, man. He's got a lot of work to do. He didn't really strike me as the quintessential top 10 fighter or anything like that. They got a lot of work to do with him. Beeb, any thoughts on Hrgovic?
I mean, it's hard. It's hard to say, still. Man. I mean, it's hard. Off of what I saw last night, it's hard to say. I don't see like that it factor in him, but it's hard to see that in a fight like I saw last night. So I think he did what he had to do last night, but when I look at him and I try to match him up against some of the other guys up there, it's hard for me to see him beating those guys potentially down the road. I just don't see it.
Put him in there with Joe Joyce. I don't know. I mean, honestly, I don't know because, like I said, man, he just he doesn't do it for me. There's nothing there, nothing like when I see him. And yeah, he got the knockout last night and everything like that. But watching this guy, he lumbers. There was nothing that I looked at him and said, "Wow."
Yeah.
This guy's.
I just don't see any, and I don't want to be that blunt, but I don't know. I want to be fair. I want to be fair to the guy, but I just I don't know. I just didn't see.
And the guy you fight last night, man, like I said, man, he looked like he didn't train at all for that fight. I mean, he looked like an ordinary guy off the street, And I mean, they brought him in there, and it was just like, he won by KO. Whoa!
I want to give him the benefit of the doubt, but I don't know. I
do too, but you just got to base it on the eye test sometimes. And, even with
he doesn't pass the eye test.
We'll cut him a little slack, but you're talking about him making a run at the championship.
I just don't. I don't. Come on. I don't see it.
No, I don't either. I don't see it even a little bit. So there you go. All right, real quick, too, we're going to talk about Brandon Figueroa versus Javier Nicholas. Is it Nicholas Chacon? Brandon Figueroa won via fourth-round KO. It was a one-sided fight from start to finish. Everybody knew the fight was going to be one-sided. Everybody knew the fight was going this route, and it did just that. And wasn't too impressed with it.
Kind of weird how ESPN Plus had the best card, and they usually have the worst card. Right?
Right.
They were head and shoulders above the Zone and PBC yesterday.
Well, who do they got coming up now? Because they had because I thought the ESPN Plus card was really, really good. So who do they got coming up? They got Lomachenko coming up. They got Tyson Fury coming up. And what was that last fight they were going on about? Do you remember?
God.
There was another ESPN fight coming up. But they look like they're gonna, they're having some better cards out there. So hopefully their action is coming.
Now they got Billy Joe Saunders too, so
yeah. And somebody said, were you surprised about somebody in the chat said, are you surprised Billy Joe Saunders called out Sergey Kovalev last night? After the way Sergey Kovalev looked, no, I'm not surprised anybody called him out. I think that whole division's probably calling him out after last night. Are you kidding me? Why not?
Ray Jones is probably calling out Sergey Kovalev after that performance. Probably going to come out of retirement.
Did you see Roy Jones at the presser at the weigh-in? He was singing "Y'all Must Have."
Oh, was he?
Because remember, how he's got that Russian citizenship, so he's at all those.
Yeah, he loves it over there. They love him over there, man.
He met Putin and everything, man. He's like on a first name basis with that guy and everything.
That's awesome. I like Roy Jones.
Georgie Porgy said, Eric Beebs is beating you silly.
Why, what did I do?
Huh. What
did I do?
I don't know. JC says Chavez Jr. called out Kovalev.
Everybody called out Kovalev last night. He showed just enough vulnerability, man. Everyone wants a piece of his ass now.
All right, let's talk about the upcoming fights here. And if you guys want to call in, remember to call in 323-870-3857. Let's see what's on tap for this week. All right, so let's see here. There was one on, August 29th on, I think that's a Thursday or Friday. I don't know. It's August 29th. Guys, go look it up. We don't have Robert here anymore. He's not my savant. I don't have my savant here anymore to tell me what day it is. From Nantucket, Connecticut, UFC Fight Pass, August 29th. Your boy, Toka Khan Clary versus Irvin Gonzalez, 10 rounds, junior lightweights. Wow, they got to pick up the pace over at UFC Fight Pass, man. If he wants to make a run like he's saying, Dana, Dana's always talking about making a run in boxing. He's got to pick it up, son. All right, August 30th on ringtv.com. Ferdinand, let's see here. Oh, man, I don't know. Ferdinand somebody. Kerboyan, maybe? Let's see. Yeah. Karabayan versus Oscar Molina, 8 rounds welterweights, and that's on ringtv.com. Can't wait to not watch that one. August 31st in London on ESPN Plus, the big one, Vasyl Lomachenko versus Luke Campbell. 12 rounds for Lomachenko's WBO, WBA, and vacant WBC lightweight title. On the undercard, and we'll talk about this fight in a minute, on the undercard, Huey Fury versus Alexander Povetkin, 12 rounds heavyweights. Charlie Edwards versus Julio Cesar Martinez, 12 rounds for Edwards' WBC flyweight title. Joshua Buatsi versus Ryan Ford, 10 rounds light heavyweights. This card is
solid, man.
Son. That's a solid.
Can't complain about that, right?
August 31st. Easy for me to say. In Minneapolis, Fox Sports. Arislandi Lara versus Ramon Alvarez, Canelo's brother, 12 rounds for the vacant WBA interim junior middleweight title. That's a good fight. I love watching Ramon Alvarez. If you haven't watched Ramon Alvarez fight, man, you better tune in. He is a solid fighter. My dad was just talking to me about that. He was like, when is Canelo's brother going to fight again? I said, you know what? He's got a fight coming up. And we love watching Ramon Alvarez. He is such a solid fighter. On the undercard, Sebastian Fundora versus Jamonte Clark, 10 rounds junior middleweights. That's going to be a solid fight also. Francisco Santana, friend of the show, also on there versus Anthony Lenk, 8 or 10 rounds junior middleweights. And I think that, Money Powell also on that undercard versus Vaughn Alexander. Now, I don't know if we'll be able to see Money Powell fight on the prelims, but if you haven't seen Money Powell fight, this kid is going to be good. He's an up-and-comer. He's solid fighter. This guy is going to go. He's going to go places, man. You got to watch him. He's an up-and-comer. Let's see what else we got. I think that's it. Yes, that's it for this week in the boxing. So let's talk about it, Beeb. Let's talk about this fight, man. Vasyl Lomachenko versus Luke Campbell for the straps, man. WBO, WBA, and WBC. The straps are on the line. I like Lomachenko in this fight, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I think you kind of agree with me, Beeb, that I don't think this is a walkover. We talked about this the other night, man. We don't think this is going to be a walkover. I think that Campbell is going to provide enough resistance to make this a solid competitive fight. Campbell's a gold medalist.
Yes, he is.
Gold medalist. And I know Lomachenko is too. But if Lomachenko walks right through Luke Campbell, I'm going to be shocked. Man. Campbell's a solid boxer. It's taking place in London. So he's definitely going to have the crowd on his side. I don't think that matters to Lomachenko. I don't think Lomachenko cares where he fights. He's just an animal. But it's a good fight. I think at the end of the day, Lomachenko wins. Does he knock out Campbell?
Not sure.
I don't know. I'm going to say no. I think it goes
the distance. I think it's going to go the distance too.
I think it's a distance.
I agree with you.
So, B, what do you think? How do you think Lomachenko? You picking Lomachenko?
Yeah, I got to pick Lomachenko, but it's going to be interesting. I think while Luke Campbell is a plus 1,100, Vasyl Lomachenko is a minus 1,700. This is going to be at the O2 Arena too.
Yeah.
Oh, did you mention this? I don't know if you probably mentioned this, and I apologize if you already said this, but Hughie Fury and Alexander Povetkin are on that card, correct?
Yeah, that's the undercard. Yeah, they're the
that's incredible.
And Charlie Edwards, Julio Cesar Martinez.
I think you mentioned that, but I want to just kind of talk about how the odds are in that fight. Alexander Povetkin's a minus 165. Hughie Fury's a plus 135. So that's a close fight right there. I actually think Povetkin's going to pull that one out.
Do they have odds on who tests positive after the fight? What odds are there?
And did you say Buatsi's on that card too?
Yeah, Buatsi's on the card. Let's see, Joshua Buatsi versus Ryan Ford.
Yeah,
he's on that card.
He's a minus 5,000.
Yeah, for sure. That's a showcase fight for him.
Yeah.
It is, man. It's a solid card.
It's a good card, bro. I didn't realize how good the card was.
I like it. I like it a lot. And then let's see here. That Fox card's not bad either. That Fox card is not bad either. Erislandy Lara versus Ramon Alvarez. I think Erislandy Lara wins that fight. I mean, I'm going to be pulling for Ramon Alvarez. He's one of my favorite fighters, man. I love watching that guy. But, I think that Erislandy Lara wins that fight. Jamonte Clark, hoping he wins that fight. Francisco Santana, friend of the show, versus Anthony Link. He's on there. And have you seen Money Powell fight?
I have.
What are your thoughts on him, man? You impressed
He's
with him?
He's okay. He's not bad.
Wow.
He's not bad.
No,
he's not bad, but I don't know. There's a lot of hype around him. I just don't like when they overhype these guys.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I agree. Because when they do that, they have a tendency.
Yeah, he's good. I mean, he's just, I don't know. I just don't want to feel, he's ready for this. I don't want to fucking say he's, the cat's meow just yet, because everyone's going to be like, maybe you should fight for a title. No, not now. Not yet.
Right. Do you think Lomachenko has kind of ruined the game in a way by fighting for a title in the second fight and fighting, all this high-level and Lomachenko, listen, man, he's a special guy. Not everybody can do what he's doing.
I thought what?
But
go ahead, I'm sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I was going to say, but you got guys like Anthony Yarde who, we knew it was early for him to fight. I thought maybe he could do it, but it was early for him to take that fight. And you're seeing fighters earlier and earlier go and fight championship level fights. And not all of them are doing that well.
No.
You know what I mean?
Well, I remember Evander Holyfield. He fought for the title in his 12th fight against Dwight Muhammad Qawi. So I like to see a guy at least have 20 fights under his belt before he fights for a title shot. That's just what I like to see. I don't see what the rush is. Might as well give yourself the best possible chance to win when you do get that title shot. Depending upon your age, of course. But Lomachenko started his pro career late, so I guess they felt as though that they had a sense of urgency to get him in there with somebody, and they believed in him, and he believed in himself. So, he's an outlier, though, without question. He's an outlier. We've never seen this before, never. So he's definitely an outlier.
Well, how many fights did Spinks have? Leon Spinks
7.
Fought Ali. Wasn't it like 8 or something like that?
So that was his 8th fight. He fought for the title.
Yeah, that was so it's happened before.
Beibut Shumanov. How many fights? I think he didn't have that many fights either before he won the title.
Yeah.
So, but second fight, and then he won the title in his 3rd fight, didn't he? Because because the title got vacated because Salido was overweight and the title was vacated, and then he ended up fighting Gary Russell in his very next fight, and he won the title.
Yeah, it was like his second or third fight.
It was his third. He fought Gary Russell in his 3rd fight. So he won the world. Is that a record? Like the shortest amount of fights to get to a world title? Is that a record before winning a title?
It has to be, right? And you know what? And you know what's so special about him is that he's won 2 gold medals. I believe he's won 2 gold medals. Yeah. Lomachenko. And what kind of special fighter is this guy? He's fighting like top-level guys. Zhu Shiming did the same thing. Dominated in the Olympics. He was dominant in the Olympics from China. Couldn't get it started in the pros. Just couldn't get it started, man. Different type of style.
Couldn't make it happen.
Adapt. No. So we're looking at a special guy here, man. And for anybody like Reese Mack said, breaking news, Rosie Perez has called out Kovalev. Yeah. I think Beeb's about 175. I think Beeb should call out Kovalev. Beeb looks like he's in better shape than Kovalev, I'll tell you that.
I want to get smacked with that jab.
But I think that, yes, that's right. I think that, when you guys, it always stuns me when people bash Lomachenko's record. It's like, dude, he's fought 13, 14 times, and look at his record. He's got the best record.
Gary Russell was no joke, man.
No, not at all. Gary Russell, he's no joke. That's the guy. Georgie said he's on 508. He's called in. Listen, guys, if you call in, make sure to hit 1, and we'll put you on. If you don't hit 1, I don't think we can see you. So, Georgie, if you're on, hit 1. Unless his call timed out from Rikers. I don't know. It's always a possibility. I don't know. All right, let's get to the news and rumors here. This is interesting, man. Anthony Joshua and Andy Ruiz is set. Finally. Ruiz agrees to terms. Anthony Joshua will face Andy Ruiz in Saudi Arabia on December 7th. It looks like VADA testing will be issued for both fighters. A commission from the U.S. will be there to help them out. And last but not least, Ruiz will get more money.
How much more is he getting?
So, I don't know what he's getting, but I know he's getting more than he was. I think, what were they talking about,
yeah,
9 million?
I heard he was getting 12 now. I don't know if that's true or not, but that's what I heard.
Really?
That's what I heard. I don't know. I could be wrong. I mean, I don't know.
Wow.
The lawsuit was filed, but it was retracted after Ruiz agreed to the fight. Rematch.
Yeah, the lawsuit. That's right. We reported the lawsuit on. Was it Friday? It was Friday. All right. So Hearn filed a lawsuit.
Thursday.
Matchroom filed a lawsuit or whatever, and the date was like that day too. But according to Mike Coppinger, it's been withdrawn the same day. So I guess he submitted it earlier. By the time they actually went public or whatever, I guess it had been withdrawn. So got withdrawn. So that's the important news. Beeb, now that this fight is actually set, what are your thoughts on it? I mean, do you think, because I'll be honest, man, I don't like the body language in the sense of with Andy Ruiz. I don't like it. The fact that he had to make all these demands, he's not fighting, he's pulling out of the fight, I don't like it. I don't think this was trolling. I don't think it was meant to get in anybody's head. I think he was trying his best to wiggle out of it. That's what it looks like. That's what it looks like to me, whether it was or wasn't. I think he's going to have a hard time in the second fight.
Yeah, I'm concerned about the Buster Douglas syndrome, and
yeah,
I don't know. It's tough. I don't know. I just think that Anthony Joshua maybe underestimated him the first fight. This whole thing about people saying that Ruiz got his number, I'm not so sure about that. I think Joshua's gonna win the rematch.
I think he is too, and I think he's going to win it. And I think he's going to knock him out. I really do. I don't know
if he's going to stop him, but I think he's going to win.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised if he stopped him, but I think he's going to win.
And hey, listen, man, don't get me wrong. I'm going to be rooting for Ruiz in the second fight, just like I rooted for him in the first fight. But we'll know right away if Ruiz.
I want to say Ruiz did what he did to get more money, but then the thing was they kept giving him things, even when they gave him the more money. From what I understand, I don't know how true it is, but it just seemed like Eddie kept making concessions, and it still wasn't good enough. That's the thing, and that's what made me. That's what made me think like he keeps giving in to you and giving in little things here and there to you. And then each time he gives you something, like you want something else. It was almost like he really, like you said, didn't want the fight. I have to question whether or not he really wanted the fight or not. Because I don't know. I don't know.
I agree, man. It wasn't a good look. I mean, the whole thing was not a good look for him. I mean, listen, I understand holding out for more money. I get that. But for him to say, I don't want to fight in Saudi Arabia, I want a commission, blah, 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 blah. It's real simple, man. You want to fight or you don't want to fight. You're either going to put gloves on and stand in the ring or you're not. Because they could put the ring up anywhere. It doesn't matter where it is. You're going to fight in a ring. You're not fighting in Saudi Arabia.
You're not going to be fighting in the desert. You're going to be fighting in a ring.
Yeah.
So.
Tony Ayo says Ruiz is parting with Jenny Sushi and Logan Paul types.
Yeah.
It's mad with you. Let's talk about up-and-coming heavyweights, man, here. Alexander Usyk versus Andrei Fedosov. According to Jake Donovan, Alexander Usyk will face Andrei Fedosov on October 12th in Chicago. The fight will be on DAZN and will be the first fight at heavyweight for Usyk. Beeb, do you know who Andrei Fedosov is?
I do not. I'm sorry.
I don't either. Yeah, we follow boxing pretty
Yeah,
close,
I
right?
sincerely apologize. I don't know who he is.
I don't know who he is either. I have no clue. Never seen this guy. I didn't know he was an actual boxer. You know, so, I mean, he may be pretty good. My guess is that he's not. Because, you know, if I got my guy Usyk getting ready to have his first fight at heavyweight, I'm not going to put him in there with a killer. They wanted to put him in there with Carlos Takam, which, that's a tough fight.
I wouldn't. I mean, that's a big jump. Like, right to be a first fight at heavyweight. I'm not crazy about that.
I'm not either. So I like Fedosov much better than Takam,
I agree.
I'll tell you that. How do you think, you know, they've got a lot of high expectations. Callum B said the Fedosov fight is off. Usyk said he didn't want to fight the Russian due to political tensions. Well, as of yesterday post time, he said he was fighting him. So I don't know what to tell you. Go talk to Jake Donovan. So yeah, man.
I heard that.
I don't know.
I heard that too, but I'm not sure how true that is. That the fight's going to be called off because of that. But I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I have no idea. But go ahead. I'm sorry. I need to ask the question.
They've got a big, they've got a big number on Usyk in the sense that they think that he's going to be the next guy. A lot of people feel like that. A lot of people feel like he's the next, Klitschko. He's the next guy to run that heavyweight division. A couple of questions here. Number one, is he big enough?
That's the thing. I'm not sure.
I'm not sure either, right?
I
think he's skilled enough.
Does he have enough power? And again, once again, the punch resistance is going to come into play here. He's never been hit with guys who are 250, 260. You know what I mean? How's he going to deal with that? This heavyweight division's got some monsters in it right now. They're fucking big dudes, bro.
Big guys. Just look at Joshua. I mean, you take Wilder. Let me tell you what, man. Wilder, I shook his hand before, and Wilder's hands are about two of mine. He's that big. He's a big dude. Guy.
Is he thin in real life? Like when you look at him, is he thin or he's thin, right?
Yeah, he looks just tall and thin. You know, he looks like a basketball player. And in fact, he joked that everybody thinks he's LeBron. Yeah, it was a LeBron James or something like that. He thinks that everybody says he looks like LeBron James, or he used to look like LeBron James. You know, but for real, man, he looks like a basketball player. I would never think that guy was a boxer, but he is a monster. When you stand next to him,
imagine getting hit by him. Oh my God.
No. And you know what? When you wouldn't think he hits hard until you see his hand. I mean, his hand's like
looks like a fucking ham. It looks like a ham hock.
You right? Yeah, exactly. Joe Lopez, 40 ounce in the chat, just says Ruiz holding out worked for him. He got more money and the fight is now on. I don't see the problem here. Well, I mean, the problem is they gave him the money, and then he still said no. They conceded a lot of stuff.
It seemed like even when they gave him what he wanted, it still wasn't going to be enough. That's why I don't know.
But hey, man, maybe it works for him, and maybe this was all part of his drawn out plan. I don't know. It just, to me, something's wrong with it. You know what I mean?
You gotta question the desire.
Yeah.
You have to question the desire.
Exactly.
There's something up.
That's the thing.
There's definitely something up.
Yeah. Again, if you guys want to call in, 323-870-3857. Let's see here. So, yeah, I think that that was Earthquake said he was hardballing him. Yeah.
That's so.
Maybe. But we'll see, man. We'll see. Andy Ruiz, that is the one thing I forgot to mention. Andy Ruiz came on and said that he was going to end AJ's career in the desert.
What do you think?
Do you think if Andy Ruiz beats him again, that AJ's career is done? Not necessarily that he doesn't fight again, because he might. Who knows?
It's derailed.
That's a tough road.
It's derailed. It's
that's a tough road
you
back.
can't take 2 L's. And Eddie Hearn's like, oh, it's not that big of a deal if he loses again. Yeah, it is, Eddie. Stop it. Stop it. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah, AJ is. Yeah, I believe AJ.
His stock goes down immensely if he loses again.
Where do you go from here? If you're AJ and you lose again, you are essentially
You're in trouble.
out of the title. This is a huge fight for Eddie Hearn as well, because he's got the belts on DAZN.
Yeah.
They lose, those belts are going over to PBC, and you know what? They ain't never coming back. So
He's in trouble.
They're never coming.
He's
back.
in trouble.
Yeah. Good luck. Good luck trying to get them.
He's in big time
back.
trouble.
Omar Rodriguez says, I think it makes him a possible Frank Bruno. Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. You know, everybody bags on Frank Bruno, man. Frank Bruno won the heavyweight championship. He legit won it.
Took him a couple of times, but he did it.
Yeah. And, I mean, look who he lost to. Lennox Lewis. He lost to Mike Tyson, Lennox Lewis. I mean, he had some listen, man, Frank Bruno was a good fighter. He was a heavy
fucking
hitter.
man.
Yeah. For sure, man. Dr. Mafogo says if AJ loses again, it's not over, basically. Yeah, maybe not. I mean, like I said, there'll be fights out there for him. He's a draw, but man, he ain't never going to be the draw, and I will be surprised if he gets.
Listen, it's not promising if he loses again. Trust me.
No, not even a little bit.
It's not going to be fun for him if he loses again.
Tony Ayo says, "Where's the Dylan White B sample?" Tell you what, man, you ain't
going to find that motherfucking thing.
What's going on with this, man?
I can't even
really. Now, Eddie Hearn, I just read an article saying Eddie Hearn says we're not waiting on the B sample. So what does that mean? It came.
Okay, we're not waiting on the B sample. Where the fuck is it?
Right.
Where the fuck is it?
And you know what? I think that this was probably in Ruiz's defense here. All this stuff, and Bob Arum had made mention to it about Lomachenko too, going to London. Hey, listen, man, this isn't, this is kind of dirty pool here. This is not, the way it should be here. So, I don't know, man.
Oh, I know.
I don't know. Let's see here. Mikey Garcia, possibly getting ready to sign with Eddie Hearn and DAZN. Robert Garcia has gone on record stating that Mikey Garcia got a pretty lucrative offer from Matchroom. We know that Mikey's a free agent. He fights fight to fight, and it sounds like he may be moving toward Matchroom and DAZN. You think that's a good move for him?
I think it gets him a Lomachenko. It's not going to get him a Lomachenko fight, really. Well, I don't know. Will it?
Nah, not on DAZN. And you're on two competing.
The next big money fight for him is a Lomachenko fight.
Honestly, I think unless it's just, I think, you think about like his options over at PBC. Yeah. He's going to stay at welterweight. That's what he said.
He is. He's not going to one.
Wonderful.
I thought he was going to 140.
So why not fight? I thought he was going to stay at welterweight. But, because they were talking about him fighting Danny Garcia.
Yeah, I don't know. That can happen.
They were talking about him fighting Danny Garcia. And unless that fight, just kind of fell through, or maybe he doesn't want that fight, I don't know. But yeah, man, I think it's one of those things where if he goes as his own, who's
I don't know why he would go, like what he could do over there. I don't know. Maurice Hooker? No, he lost. Maurice Hooker lost.
He lost. So yeah, not unless they're just offering him big money.
Who the fuck does he fight over?
Because you're going to go where the money is. But what kind of fights are you going to, what kind of fights are you going to have? Tony Ayo asks, where do you guys side on the LRB Hearn beef on Tevin Tank potential fight?
Where's Tank? I heard they offered Tank how much they fucking big money for that fight. He didn't want it.
And he turned it down? So catch me up here. What's going on with this? I know it's Tevin Tank, but they supposedly threw an offer.
I think they offered him like $4 million for the fight, or in between $4 and $6 million for the fight. That's what I'm hearing. And if the fight was on Showtime, I think you'd only get like $2 million. So the fight's much bigger on the zone, and I don't know. I mean, they don't want to fucking take that fight. They don't want him to not fight on Showtime. I guess I don't know.
I don't understand it because I think this is a walkover.
It's a good fight. If you're gonna get big money for a fight like that, in a fight that you're probably gonna win, then why not take it? Who the fuck cares where it's at? This whole thing with the fucking networks is so stupid now. It really is.
Well, and you got them so divided now. Before it was only HBO and Showtime, but now it's so divided because now you got DAZN, you have PBC, and Fox, you have Top Rank with ESPN Plus, and you got a lot of different stuff.
Yeah, it's so ridiculous now. All this fucking bullshit that's been going on, it really is.
Yeah,
these fucking networks.
Yeah. So, all right, 8:04. I think this is Corey. Corey,
hi, Corey.
Live.
Hey, what's going on, y'all?
How you doing?
What's going on?
What's happening?
How you doing, Corey?
How's everything going with y'all, man? How's everything been going, man?
Really good, Corey. Nice to hear from you.
Man, good.
Oh yeah, man. I've been just working a lot, man, and taking care of my kid and stuff, man. So that's all, man. I just wanted to call in, man, and tell you guys, man, y'all got a great show. But I wanted to talk to y'all about the Kovalev versus Yarde, man. I picked Kovalev because of his experience and because he's a very, very good boxer and an underrated boxer, and I think a lot of people, fail to realize that he's really a good boxer. And I think that he got away from boxing in the Andre Ward fights. He started brawling, and once he started losing to, I think he went on like a losing. It's almost like he went on a losing streak. Like he lost to Andre Ward, and then the first fight was debatable, but the second fight, bar none, he lost. And, he's susceptible to the body shots. But, he won a couple, and then he fought Alvarez, then he lost. And I think one of the career-defining moments in Kovalev's career was when he came back and won the Alvarez 2 fight. I think that was very, 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 very telling of Kovalev. Everybody counted him out. I'm not even going to lie. I counted him out. I thought he was going to lose that second fight. I think everybody did. You know what I mean? I think a lot of people did. If you didn't pick Kovalev, if you didn't pick Alvarez to win that second fight, we just didn't see that part of Kovalev in a long time, like the pure boxer, and I think that change to Buddy McGirt was a really good change. Do I think Kovalev is a world beater now because he beat Yarde in a very, very brutal fight? No. Do I think that when he fights Canelo, will he beat Canelo? Hell no. But I truly believe that Kovalev does have a place in the light heavyweight division. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, you guys know that my personal the guy that I think is the best fighter at 175 pounds is Artur Beterbiev. I think he's gonna ice the shit out of Gostic, and a lot of people are going to be surprised, but I think Gostic is chinny. A lot of people said, Beterbiev is chinny, but he takes those chances. You know what I'm saying? He takes those chances what a lot of fighters don't, and the power that Beterbiev has is just unbelievable. But as far as Kovalev's next fight, I think he's going to go with that money grab, man, with the Canelo, man. But I think a lot of people are looking past the damage that Yarde put on Kovalev, man. That at the age of 36 years old, you got to understand, man, that I don't see a lot of channels talking about it. I'm not sure if y'all talked about it yet, but Adonis Stevenson and Kovalev late in their careers are taking massive punishment, man. And I think that's overlooked, man. I don't think enough people are talking about that, man. I just truly believe that, these guys in these later ages in their careers, yes, they have enough to get the job done, but what are they sacrificing to get the job done? You know what I mean? And, your health is the main thing. And, are we going to be looking at, guys punch drunk at the end of their career, which I really don't want to see. But, Adonis Stevenson, I mean, he would have probably kept fighting, but he had to get out of the game because he got, damn near in a coma, and I just don't want to see the same thing happen to Kovalev, man. Canelo Alvarez is a very, very, very dangerous and very calculated puncher when you're susceptible to, body shots and, headshots. I think Kovalev still has his chin, but I think that could possibly work against him, being that he's so strong and he's so willed to win. At some point, when do you say enough is enough, you guys? I'm going to be honest with you guys. I know everybody want to see the Kovalev versus Canelo fight, but I really just truly want to see Kovalev retire on top, man. I'm just going to be honest with you guys. The more I think about it, obviously we're fans. We ask a lot out of these fighters, but I'm just going to be honest, man. I'd rather see Kovalev retire, man. You know what I'm saying? I really do, man.
You think that fight's a mismatch?
He's done enough in school. I mean, I think I just truly believe Canelo is, I just think he's in the prime of his career, man. And a prime Canelo versus an aging Kovalev is very dangerous and could be deadly. I'm just going to be honest with you guys, man. I got to go, man. That's my call, man. The fight's coming up, next weekend. I know you guys are going to talk about it, man, but, it's going to be some good fights next weekend as well. I got Lomachenko winning, man, but you guys have a great night, man. I got to go, man. You guys have a great night, man. It's a great show, man. You guys like and subscribe, okay, you guys?
Thank you so much, man.
Peace out, you guys.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you very much, Corey. And thank you, Omar, in the chat, man. We appreciate your support. Thank you so much. So, yeah, I mean, what do you think about that, Beeb? Would you like to see Kovalev retire? Or you want
let him fight the Canelo fight. Let him get paid first before he goes away.
I say this, boy.
Sadistic. Let him get paid.
Beeb's just sadistic.
Let him pay. Let him get paid before he...
He's got to go. I mean, listen, it'll be the most money he's... listen, I mean, we know it's going to be a walkover. There's no question about it. But look, it's going to be the most money he's ever gotten in a fight. So why not? Why not? I mean, why not let him go out on a
I'm not against it at all.
No. Listen, man, I mean, if he thinks he can go in there and be competitive, and I think, listen, don't get me wrong. I mean, he will be competitive. He'll be competitive. I mean, I don't think that he beats Canelo, but I think he will be competitive. I don't think it's going to be.
No, I don't think it's going to.
I think it's going to be a one-sided fight, but I don't think it's anything crazy like he just gets on,
a tough fight, man.
All right. Triple G versus Derevyanchenko is set for October 5th in Madison Square Garden. So a question was asked, if Triple G wins, does this mean there's a third fight with Canelo? Steve Kim was asked this, and he said not necessarily. According to sources close to Golovkin, should he come out victorious against Derevyanchenko, they might come right back in January or February of 2020 for a title defense. Canelo is slated to fight November 2nd, and it's highly doubtful that it will return any sooner than his customary Cinco de Mayo weekend slot in 2020. So there you go. So, Beeb, do we ever see a third fight with these guys?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And I don't think Canelo wants it. I really don't. And it's not, I don't think he wants it because he's afraid of Triple G or anything like that. I don't think he wants it. I don't think he likes Triple G. And I don't think he has anything left to prove. He feels he has nothing left to prove. I don't think he likes Triple G. I don't think that he just doesn't want to give him that payday.
No, I agree. This is personal between them two.
Yeah, he doesn't like him.
Just doesn't like him.
And it's funny in a sport like this, where getting in the ring and just punching the guy you don't like in the face. This is like one of the very few sports. This is an MMA or one of the very few sports where if I don't like a guy, we can settle it in the ring. I can go in there and we can hit each other in the face.
Yeah.
But sometimes that trumps it because money's involved. And you know that if you do fight, you are giving this guy a payday. And I don't want to do that. I don't want to put any money in this guy's pocket. And you know what? Hey, I mean, it is what it is. Listen, you had 2 shots at him. You had 2 shots. You didn't beat him either time. Like it or not, you didn't win. I thought you won, but that and 50 cents won't even buy you a cup of coffee. All right? That's the way it is. Peter Quillen versus Alfredo Angulo is set for September 21st. This actually caught me off guard because Julio Cesar Chavez Jr. was angling for a fight with Alfredo Angulo. So that to me was interesting. Beeb, you sent me something this weekend about James Kirkland, how he came back and he won. He came back after a 4-year layoff, wasn't it? And won his fight in the first round. What do you make of that? Is he on like a full-fledged comeback, or was this just like a get-right fight, now I'm gone? You know, like I couldn't live with the end. You know what I mean? Like I didn't like the way I went out, so I'm going to go out this way. Or is he actually having a full-fledged comeback, man?
History has shown us no, because he'll come back and he fights like once every 2 years and stuff. It's just crazy.
I don't understand it. Was Ann Wolf? Do we know if Ann
Wolf
was in his corner?
I do not know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I honestly do not know.
It's crazy, man. Yeah, he's a different kind of guy. He's a different kind of guy, that's for sure, man. Nobody knows where he's at. 646 New York. You're live.
Hey guys, how you doing? It's Destro from New York. How you doing?
Good, man. What was your name again?
Destro.
All right, man. What's going on?
So I agree with the last caller, right? A lot of things that he said, but what I don't agree, like he said Sergey versus Canelo, he'd be worried about Sergey's health. I think Sergey has too much quit in him. So I really feel like if the going gets tough, and I really see Sergey like he's a bully. And Andre Ward, I think he nailed it years ago as far as Sergey Kovalev. You stand up to a bully, and I think that's some of the things. When there's resistance, I think Sergey starts to like fall apart. And in the 8th round, I think Sergey, like we saw some of it. There was like a second where like I kind of jumped off the couch. I was like, oh, like, you know, that's it. You know, and I really feel in the Canelo fight, I feel if the going gets too tough. And also remember, if Buddy McGirt is in his corner, Buddy McGirt is not going to let Sergey, you know, take a lot. Buddy McGirt I think he stopped the fight at the right time. Was it the last, sorry, I forgot the guy's name. The guy who passed away. But Buddy McGirt,
what was his name?
The guy who, so I think Buddy McGirt would not let that happen. Buddy McGirt was up the fight maturely before he let Sergey, and I think Sergey would do him a favor and just quit. I think Sergey would quit and then try to find a reason to blame the referee, blame somebody else except for himself. So I don't think, but I think Canelo would destroy him. I think Sergey would be mentally defeated for the first bout. So that's my thoughts on the last caller. So I heard you guys critiquing Yarde, and I feel like on paper the guy didn't have a chance. Like Sergey has like 230 amateur fights, you know, Olympic experience, a ton of experience. Yarde has 12 amateur fights, 18 pro fights, right? So on paper, I think, you know, he didn't stand a chance, right? But I still think he did well, like all things considered. Considering like what Beeb said, and that I caught that too when Yarde said, "Yeah, we're all inexperienced." I was like, "Wow." He's like, "My team is inexperienced, we're all inexperienced," and to me, that's really tough. I thought Yarde should say, "Okay, guys, you got me here. Maybe you guys believed in me and got me to this point because nobody else would have trained me to get to this point, but we'll take it from here. You know, you guys could be chief thirds or something, but I need a real trainer. I'm at this level, making millions." You know, but what are your thoughts on Kovalev? Like, you guys critique Yarde, but like Kovalev, what are your thoughts on his performance?
Listen, man, I thought he did. Yarde was a hungry lion in there. He's a young up-and-comer. If anybody was going to, we all thought that maybe it might have been a little bit too early. I picked Yarde by knockout within 8. Beeb picked Kovalev by knockout.
I picked Kovalev by knockout,
Yeah, Beeb had Kovalev by knockout. But I thought that Yarde could.
You're almost right.
I didn't think he was going to win a
You're almost
decision.
right.
Yeah. I didn't think he was going to win a decision, but I thought he had enough power to explode him, and get him out of there. But hey, man, credit to Kovalev. I thought, for as much as we bag on Kovalev for quitting that Andre Ward fight, and he did quit that Andre Ward fight, that second fight, as much as I give him a hard time for that, he very well could have quit that fight in the 8th round. He could have quit because he was being battered.
Like, if we could pause that moment in history, and I would have put a wager right then and there, I'd be like, he's about to quit. I would have lost my money.
Yeah.
I'm like, he's about to quit.
Right. Well, that's the thing, man.
The other, I guess, 2 more things. Yarde, I feel like, we could give him like a whole lot of critique. He should do this better, that better. Conditioning, lose weight, move up in weight. Switch trainers. I think he just needs to do something with the jab. And I feel like his corner should be like, dude, you're eating the jab all night, man. You got to do something. There was none of that. Like, just do something with the jab. And even if I don't know if I can really question his conditioning. Because, in sparring and stuff like that, I'll go to sparring. I'm in an absolute great conditioning. But when you start getting touched, it's like your energy starts getting zapped, and he's going to hit the jab all night. Maybe that's why his conditioning failed him. But I agree with Andre Ward. Like, all that muscle, that bulk, and there aren't many guys who could carry that type of muscle and still have conditioning and stamina in the late rounds. To me, he seems like he's probably like a 6-round, 8-round, 4-round fighter. I don't know, man. We'll see. The other thing I want to mention real quick, as far as Anthony Joshua, so I was at MSG when he lost to Ruiz, and I remember what George Foreman said a long time ago about MSG. He said this years ago. This is like a decade ago. He said, every time I fought at MSG, he's like he said something about MSG where you just, you feel it's different. It's a different feeling, like you kind of like a mental effect on you. And when Anthony Joshua walked into the ring, and he was his demeanor, his behavior was different. And I was with my friend from Wales, and I was like, dude, something's wrong with AJ. Something's wrong. Like, this is before the first bout, something's wrong. So I really feel that he fell apart mentally, and he needs a sports psychologist to really, I think, talk to him. As far as the steroid thing, I don't believe it, because when he fought Klitschko, it was body testing. So I don't think that had anything to do with it.
No, I don't either. I never bought. Listen, man, until he's caught with with a bad test or anything like that, just like with Pacquiao, when people accuse Pacquiao of being on steroids and on PEDs. Listen, the guy has never been caught. How can we?
Well, okay, I got one thing to say about Pacquiao, and one thing to say about Pacquiao. The most evidence, I guess, is going to call it evidence. There was an interview with, I think Ellie Setback was interviewing somebody. I almost feel it was Nonito Donaire. And I remember the scenery, the setting, but I don't remember who he was interviewing. But the guy he was interviewing, he said, I'm on the same stuff that Manny Pacquiao's on. And I can't find the interview, but I think so he was standing, the boxer that Ellie was interviewing was standing behind it was like a brick wall, and he said, I'm on the same stuff that Pacquiao's on. And I was like, this is before the whole thing blew up. And I was like, wait, what? To me, I feel like that's the most incriminating, one of the most incriminating things. Like, that statement alone, like, what do you mean you're on the same stuff? The guy is, and I love Pacquiao, man. I've been in more fights, probably 10 Pacquiao fights, but
yeah,
I don't know.
Well, if you find that video, do me a favor. If you find that video, tweet it to me. I'm at Ringside73 on Twitter. Tweet it to me, and let me check it out.
Awesome, man. Guys, thanks so much.
All right, man, we're going to get running. Absolutely, man. He made a good point about Yarde and the sparring and everything. I think the first thing I would do, if I was Anthony Yarde, the very first thing I would do is change his trainer. That's number one. And you start talking about that stamina issue and stuff. Beeb, if you're not accustomed to getting hit, what's the first thing that happens when you get hit?
You don't know how to react to it.
And you get excited. All of a sudden, you start breathing heavy. You start wondering what's going on. Your adrenaline goes through the roof. You don't know how to relax. You don't know how to relax, and that's key. That's key. You know, when you're throwing shots or getting hit with shots, the best thing you could do is what?
Relax.
You know, you got to know how to, relax in there, man. Area code 443, you're live.
Yo, what's up, y'all? This is Beeb. What's going on, y'all?
Hey, what's happening?
Where
you been, brother? How you been?
Good.
What's going on?
Chilling, man. I think y'all did pretty good, man. He just got to cut that not sparring. I think he need to keep his coach. His coach got him that far. His coach not that experienced. So whatever he's doing something right to get him that far. He just need to tweak a few little things. And like you said, stop throwing so much power on those punches. You know, try to pace himself out, and he's gonna be a world champion. He got him this far. Everybody talking about the fight. It's not like he got blown out in 6 rounds. He was blew his load in the 8th round. He's got to pace himself, and he should attack him in different spots. He was trying to box too much. He should have tackled him, and he should have tacked him in the 2nd round, tacked him in the 4th round. I think he would have just paced himself and kept attacking him, kept pressing him. He probably would have got him out of there. He probably would have had enough energy. He just wasn't strategic. They didn't have enough experience. Now they got the experience to be more strategic and know themselves. Now they know themselves. That's what come experience. That's what Kovalev said. You can't pay for this experience. So now he got a little bit of experience. He know himself a little better. It's some shit. You right? We gonna get a world belt. You feel me?
There you go. He did. He gave a very good account of himself, I thought. I thought Yarde did a very good job. I thought, like I said, man, we've been saying it all night, that we thought maybe it was a little bit too early for him. But, hey, listen, man, he gave a great account of himself.
That you can't go in there talking stupid shit like fire your fucking coach. And then his coach got him this far. His coach got him to the point where everybody talking about the fight, he did good. He just didn't know himself well enough.
Don't you think, though, let me ask you a question. Don't you think, though, that it was a big mistake that he didn't spar before that fight? And that was a coaching decision. That wasn't Yarde's decision. That apparently was his coaching decision.
Yeah. Not the spar. Yeah, not the spar, because I believe if he would have sparred, he would have had more gas in the tank. He would have had more gas. I believe his tank, his stamina problem come from him not doing no sparring at all, because you push yourself in sparring. I don't say you gotta spar hard and spar heavy, but at least twice a week you gotta push yourself in sparring to get that win and know what to do in certain situations.
And let me pose another question. Another question to you. We all knew that Kovalev was going to come out with a jab, correct? I mean, we all knew this.
Yeah.
Because they did that with the Elider Alvarez fight. We knew Kovalev. Why did Yarde have no answer for the jab?
Yeah, look, people keep
First thing you should do is get rid of that coach. That's what I'm saying.
But people, his jab, it's not just his jab that was giving him problems. It's his lead hand, period. You can't get rid of Kovalev. Like Canelo going to have problems with his lead. It's his lead hand. He got Buddy McGirt. He's doing different things with his lead hand. He's using it. He just putting it in your face. He's jamming to your body. His lead hand is very active. You can't really take it away. You just gotta use your footwork. You gotta change levels. You gotta throw double jabs. You gotta offset it as much as possible. You gotta use your lead hand just as much as it's something like Earl Spence, the way Earl Spence used his lead hand. You can't stop it, but you gotta use different things to offset it. You gotta use angles. You gotta change levels. You gotta move. You gotta use. Just like Dwight. Y'all remember the old boxer, Dwight Conway? You couldn't get him with no jab. He head movement. Remember the White Cow, you got to use head movement. You got to use your own jab. You got to double, triple up your jab. Use feints and hit. You got to do all kinds of different things with somebody got an actively hand like that. You just can't just say you're going to take it away because they use it too fucking much to take it away. They doing too much with it. Doing too much with it. He's doing too much. And Buddy McGirt, that's how Buddy McGirt got him really using that lead hand a lot. So you gotta work with it. You gotta throw your jabs. You gotta move your head. You gotta constantly move get a lot of head movement, changing levels and feints. You gotta use feints. You gotta do all kinds of things to offset it. Use lateral movement and all that type of shit just to offset that shit. Because it's not as easy as say just take away the jab. And that's all he was doing is trying to come over top of it with the hook. That wasn't enough. That wasn't enough. He should have walked in more. He had chances to walk in more. He could have came in more and went to the body more. And once he did it in the 7th round, he seen it work. But it was already too late. It was already too late. He wasted too much energy doing other shit that wasn't working.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Well, I can't disagree with that. Yeah, I can't disagree with that.
He wasted a lot of energy doing shit. He wasted energy doing shit that wasn't working. But now he know what works. Now he know what works. The 7th round, that shit worked. When he came in and started going to the body, then once he go to the body, once Kovalev really felt it to the body, he almost was out. He was like, that round would have went on like 7, 8 more seconds. Kovalev would have been out of there. Buddy McGirt was thinking about stopping the fight. He almost stopped him in the 8th round. He could have stopped him. If he would have started that shit a little bit more early, he wasted time doing too much other shit that wasn't working, trying to beat him with the left hook, trying to outbox him. You can't outbox Kovalev. He tried to outbox him too much when he should have been fighting. He was boxing when he should have been fighting. And when he should have been fighting, he was boxing. So he it's a learning experience. So now he know he should have been. I did a video and I said he should have been fighting the whole time. He would have gotten the fuck up out of there. He would have gotten the fuck up out of there. But his coach gonna sit back and look at this shit as a learning experience. But I don't want to hold y'all up too much, man. But I'll call in just to bless y'all, just to let y'all hear my point of view, y'all.
Well, we appreciate it, man. Do me a favor, shout out your YouTube channel real quick.
Man, it's Word Stay Real TV, man. Y'all can hit me up. I do videos every day, man. Hit me up. Now, I got y'all number, so I'll call y'all every Sunday. Every Sunday. I'll start calling y'all every Sunday, man. Y'all be easy, man.
All right, man. Sounds good. Thank you so much, Wood. Good deal. So yeah, go catch Wood on YouTube. He does videos and everything like that. All right, let's go to area code 787. 787, you're live.
Hey guys, Omar Rodriguez here.
Omar, how you doing?
So, good.
What's happening, man?
Hey, I had Kovalev winning in the 6th. I had Kovalev winning in the 6th round. Yes, kind of a stop. I thought he would open up earlier, but I think I underestimated Yarde a little bit. But anyways, on the Canelo side, I have difficulty viewing Canelo getting inside up easy as some people are putting it. It took Ward 2 fights to get inside of Kovalev and do something effective. I don't know. What do you guys think?
Well,
what are your thoughts?
My friend Eric said the same thing. He thinks that it's gonna be hard for Canelo to get inside. He thinks that Kovalev's size is going to play a factor. He also believes that Kovalev is going to be able to get to Canelo because D-Style posed this question to me. He said, if Andre Ward can hit Kovalev, if Kovalev can hit Andre Ward, because you don't think he can hit Canelo? I said, well, it's a different style matchup. I said Canelo gets lower. He moves his head a little bit more than Andre Ward, but Andre Ward likes to stay in the pocket and kind of grind it out with you and give you that shoulder and that forearm. Canelo's not really like that. He's more of a finesse guy, as crazy as that may seem. When he gets inside, he's more of a finesse guy that kind of moves his head, squats down, steps around you, steps off to either side, hangs on your shoulders, and digs those shots to the body. So I could see it both ways. I think it's going to be a difficult fight in the beginning for Alvarez, But once Alvarez starts to get in there, I think eventually he will get in there. I don't think it'll be easy in the beginning, but I think once he does find a way, like by throwing, I think he'll end up being able to eventually feint his way in there, and kind of slide in there through feinting and through a jab, through an effective jab that's going to be moved around a lot. It's going to be varied in spots. It's not going to be just thrown in the same way. I think Canelo's real creative with his offense, and I think he'll find a way to get in there. And once he does get in there and starts landing the shots, I think that they're going to start taking their toll, because I don't think Kovalev can fight on the inside at all. But I could be wrong. I mean, Kovalev may be able to keep him outside. I don't know, but I kind of think that Canelo will get in there and he will be able to do the work inside to make this fight a tough fight for Kovalev.
I agree. I think Canelo wins. I just don't think it's gonna be easy to get inside.
No, it's not gonna be easy in the beginning.
When they were explaining it.
Yeah.
But I think Canelo can knock him out maybe closer to the 10th, 11th round once he gets in and goes to work on the body. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll see, man.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's my call.
Yeah, it's a big jump in weight.
All right, man. We appreciate it, man. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Omar. Yeah, it's a big jump in weight.
It is a big jump in weight. It is. My thought though, and you could say, well, Canelo was able to hit Andre Ward, so he should be able to hit. Kovalev was able to hit Andre Ward. Listen, that fight is a few years ago now. I mean, it's by the time this fight takes place, it's going to be, and Kovalev is not the same fighter in either one of those two fights.
And plus, here's the thing too. Andre Ward wasn't a spring chicken when he fought Kovalev either.
No, he wasn't. No, he sure wasn't.
So.
But you know what's ironic though? I think Andre Ward is still good enough to beat anybody in that division.
Yeah, it's hard to pick against Andre Ward, man, because he still looks like he's in good shape.
I always say he was one of those guys coming up. Even when Floyd was number one, I had Andre.
You did. I remember that.
One. And I always said, man, until I see this guy beaten, I don't believe he can be beat. It just is.
No, he's a good fighter, man.
All right, let's see here. 347, you're live.
Hello?
Yeah, you're live.
Hello? You guys can hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I can hear you.
Eric, Beeb, what's going on, guys? It's the earthquake from the chat.
Hey, what's happening, brother?
Brooklyn.
How you doing?
What's
happening?
How
you doing,
champ? Oh, good. Man, that Anthony Yarde fight. Man. Oh, man. I mean, but I wanted to see him win. I was rooting for the kid, but I didn't see it happening. I saw a couple of his last few fights, and I was just there's too many flaws in his style, man. I was sorry, hold on. Yeah, too many flaws in his style. Like from the first round, he's eating jabs, and I'm like, okay, he's gonna have to adapt to that sooner or later, right? And what ends up knocking him out? The same jab. It's like, man.
That is, right?
It's like, where's the ring IQ? Where's the, he has a guy in the corner calling himself Master Genius. Where's the Master Genius last night, man?
This corner, I told you, this corner was terrible.
Yeah.
Wood said he didn't need to fire his corner. Son, you need to get rid of that corner like yesterday.
That's what I was trying to, man, they're being too nice on the kid. In my opinion, his future isn't looking too bright because like I said, his ring IQ wasn't there. He was just following Kovalev around the ring all night. His defense, it wasn't, like I said, he was getting 1-2s, nonstop. What else? Offense, you know what? The seventh and eighth round, like Wood said, if he came out earlier, that's what I think. Sunday, Ajayi, he really fucked up by trying to force that shoulder roll style onto what's his name? Yarde. Yeah. He really fucked up there because you remember the Andre Berto fight where he was fighting Robert Guerrero?
Yeah.
And he was just plotting around, and it's like, dude, why are you like? You're too big of a target to be doing that. First of all, like, either you're gonna rush in, and he has great offense where he was just walking around throwing single shots. It was pissing me off because it took him 7 rounds to actually do what he had to do, you know? But yeah, man.
Yeah.
The Ruiz fight, I'm just happy it's signed. I want to see Ruiz just bring the belts back home. And I would really wanted to get you guys' opinion on who you feel is like the best at 170. I mean, I know, what's his name, Beterbiev and Bivol, they're going to fight soon?
Beterbiev and Fosdick are fighting, right? That's a good fight.
Beterbiev and Fosdick, right.
Yeah.
But me personally, I was really rooting for Marcus Brown. He didn't turn out too well.
Oh,
man.
Was I shocked when I was watching that fight? Oh, my God.
Listen, man, I'm over the moon for John Pascal. I'm so happy for that guy. But Marcus Brown, I mean, what are you doing?
I could not believe that, what I witnessed.
I would have bet my paycheck Brown was going to walk that fight.
Yeah. I thought he took that as like a easy fight, you know, as a tune-up or a little stay busy fight. But man, back to the drawing board for him. But yeah, I want to know like who you guys think are the best. Well, who would you have to pick? That's like the top player at 175.
It's packed, man, but I've got to go with Bivol or Beterbiev. I think they go. I mean, either one of those guys, Bivol, Kovalev,
Beterbiev got a shaky chin, though, man.
Yeah, I like Bivol. I think he's the guy, but you know, there's questions about whether he's too small for the division.
I kind of like Fosdick.
Yeah. Well, there it is. I mean, look at us. I mean, we're all picking like 3 different guys.
I kind of like Fosdick.
So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a great division. It's a great division.
It is stacked.
But yeah, man, I didn't want to hold you guys up. You guys do a great job. Love the show. Keep doing your thing.
Thank you, brother.
Oh, thank you.
Much appreciated. Much appreciated.
There we go.
From this day, you'll be my new fool.
Georgie.
Hey, yo, what's happening, people?
Hi, George.
Hello, energy.
Hi, Georgie.
Hey, that will be Mr. Porgy for you guys. Put the
Mr.
kid to
Porgy.
sleep because I'm going in.
Hey, where are the videos?
Yo, Eric.
Where are the videos at?
What video?
Where are the videos at? You said you were going to send me some videos on Twitter or something like that.
Yeah, I'm working
like
on
some
it, baby.
intro
I'm trying to
videos
make
or
it the best intro I can,
Okay.
baby boy. But guess what? It's going to be done.
All right.
It's going to get done before the fucking Skype. So, I got to leg up on that.
90 seconds.
Brother. Yo, shout out to the UK. Shout out to the UK Pride, baby. Man, that was an awesome fight. First of all, boxing, yo, you gotta give it to these fucking gladiators. Yo, the top echelon, top fighters out there catching L's. Her was my fucking favorite fighter, 154, and he catch a L.
60 seconds.
He's one a day I catch a L. I mean, you know, yo, people throwing down, these cats throwing down, they boogieing. They throwing down, man. Awesome fight. The UK gotta be proud of his man. He went there on foreign land, pressed the issue without having the experience. He did. I mean, he went down his tail. What else could you ask from the man? I wouldn't even be mad at a rematch. Make Kovalev go there to fucking London somewhere. That would be awesome.
He was good.
Brother.
He put up a good account. Put up a good
Yeah,
fight,
man, that was great. Now, that being said, fuck Luke Campbell. That nigga's a high job. I don't want to see that shit. Yo, how come over
dare
here?
you?
Eric, let me burn. Let me have my 2 minutes. Come here every week. Yo, thumbs up. Support the channel. Donate this and that. And I turn around talking about what? Luke Campbell? I'm gonna fucking puke. That's the name we don't even talk to. And you said that you would be surprised if you make the distance? What do you say, Eric?
Like I said, man, I think Luke Campbell's a tough out. I don't think that. I don't think he knocks him out. I think it goes the distance, man. It's a tough fight. It's a tough fight for him.
Man, I gotta below my carrying demand. Somebody put some money underneath the table just to carry that boy. Get out of here, man. Yo, come on, man. I gotta go. Next. I don't want to hear that shit. Yo, Beeb, how many times you be beating Eric lately? Eric don't have it on here no more. He washed up. Do you better
No, because I picked Kovalev, you picked Yarde. He's like saying that.
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I gotcha.
I mean,
what you mean? You been losing for the last 3 months, Eric. You washed up, baby. You're not even on the rankings no more.
he's on a losing
You cannot even
streak.
put a pipe in. Yeah. You gotta retire,
hey,
baby.
it's your turn to
Hang
step
them
up. Step up
You're
and
gonna get
challenge
hurt,
Beeb.
baby, on all those pipes. All these days, you're not gonna get up from all those pipes. It's gonna be a wrap for you, baby. You don't make those pipes no more. Gotta move on. Yo, where the fuck is Jason at? No Jason tonight?
He's coming up next.
With our laundry?
He's coming up after you.
No comment? He's scared of these
You're
words,
the
huh?
opening act for Jason tonight.
Oh, talking about opening up, shout out to Wood, yo, from Beeman. Shout out to Earthquake, people who calling in, hopefully they keep being regulars and shit. So we can have new callers, new opinion, and try to fucking push this sport, because the sport is doing great, man. Oh, we gotta get rid of this fucking mafia setting shit up fights. That Luke Campbell, that's a waste of fucking time. But I guess some money gonna get made there. Now they got this shit on Saudi Arabia, fucking Ruiz. Yo, Beeb. Yo, you attacked Eddie like a motherfucker, didn't you, huh? And that shit's still gonna be down there. What's up with dang apples, Beeb?
Well, I mean, the fight's done. What can you say? That's what we wanted. The fight's done. Eddie didn't do it.
With a fucking money, huh?
Who cares where it's at? At the end of the day, man.
I mean, the fight's happening. That's all that really matters.
Yeah, that's all you care about. Fight's happening.
But what's the final number? How much they ended up giving to put that shit down there?
I don't know.
It was like they was talking like a buck thing, 110 million, and they only got to give Ruiz 7.
Well, I mean, Eddie,
wonder he was crying like a motherfucker.
Eddie did what he had to do to make sure this fight
got. Only getting like what, 7% of the whole purse?
I don't know, man. But all I'm saying is Eddie did what he had to do to get the fight done. Ruiz got some extras that he wasn't originally supposed to get, so he can't really complain now.
He got some good concessions.
He had some concessions made in his favor.
And what happened with Wilder? Was it throwing down? Because I thought he was holding up the fight with Ortiz to see what would come out with the Ruiz situation.
No, he's fighting. No, that's not. He's fighting Ortiz.
Yeah.
He's fighting him. He ain't fighting him.
He's gonna fight him.
Yeah, he's gonna fight him.
When?
When is that fight scheduled?
When?
October or November?
I think it's in October.
Yeah.
Man, nobody got a fucking day. Stop playing, people. Ain't nobody got a day, man. You guys try to hide the sun with one hand, man. We know what's going on. Fuckery once again.
Goodness.
I bet you they're not even fighting this year. I bet you they ain't fighting this year.
Yeah, why would you want to fight a washed up Cuban this year? That's gonna be a tough fight.
Who want to put a pie bet that they're fighting this year?
I'll put a pie bet that they'll fight this year.
You know, it doesn't have an official date yet, to be honest.
Ortiz and Wilder. You want to put a pie bet that they're going to fight this year?
Eric, you don't even count. You're not even on the rankings. We're talking about sit down, brother.
If I'm not in the rankings, where are you? Where are you
if
I'm not in the rankings? You still amateur status, son.
Twice.
You still amateur status, son. You can't even get in a fight in the Golden Gloves.
We're going 22 ounces after I pick up Jason City. Listen, man, I gotta go. I want everybody to support the channel. Go sign up to Wood channel. That cat mad funny. I always follow you. He be changing channels and shit, but yo, he's mad funny to follow. And support this channel. Everybody on the fucking side, behave. Nobody getting time out for no bullshit besides Jason. I'm out in Beeb Town to the world. I'm out.
Georgie.
Porgy.
And how do you follow that up, Beeb? Really, like how do you follow that?
Our caller of the year.
Jason, you're live.
What's up, guys? Hey, you guys know that the site fee for AJ versus Ruiz is $40 million, right? Because I know there's some idiots in boxing saying, "Oh, the site fee's $80 million, $70 million." I don't know where all these fake numbers are coming from. It's $40 million. So
that came from the Sun. That came from the Sun and the BBC.
Yeah, Sun and BBC are the worst fucking reporters. Like they're the ones that said Fury was getting $100 million from.
Worst reporters. Come on.
Yeah,
son.
They do.
Did you
they're the ones that said.
You think Canelo has more? You think Canelo has more skill than Andre Ward?
Can I finish, dude? Can I finish?
Come
Sun is one of the worst papers in England. You can Google like their track record. Also, BBC is the one that said Fury got $100 million, and Bob told Beeb that was all bullshit. So you don't want to take the UK papers' numbers ever. They fucking make shit up like all the time.
A lot of stuff too.
Yeah, but also I was gonna. Yeah, I did say Canelo was more skilled.
So what does it matter?
Can I finish, dude? Can I finish? Come on, dude.
Bob was a liar.
You keep your mouth shut when everybody else calls. You don't let me talk. What the fuck? Jesus Christ. Yeah, Sun is a tabloid, like Sean Newton said. Your boyfriend Sean Newton said it's a tabloid. Listen to him.
I am Sean Newton's favorite host.
Yeah, you are. But dude, Canelo is more skillful than Ward, offensively at least. I mean, I think he's way faster. I think when his body starts landing on Kovalev's going to be fucking done. Canelo will fold him up, and this is the perfect time for Canelo to fight. And Alvarez when Kovalev up, and Yarde kind of solving him up too. He was almost out on his feet in the 7th or 8th round, whatever. Canelo's going to go to the body from round 1 and jab from round 1, which that dumbass Yarde didn't do because he didn't have a real trainer and he didn't have sparring matches with real fucking fighters, you know. And he still did pretty damn good. And compare Yarde to that cross-eyed bum farmer who was just offered $2 million to fight when he's making $500K a fight.
Oh God.
He's making $500K a fight on DAZN, and they offered him $2 million for one fight. He said that's a disrespectful offer. What kind of shit is that, man? Like Yarde didn't make fucking $3-4 million over there. They say he made like $2 million or something. If I was him, Beeb, I would have taken that $1 million because that didn't take him away from the mandatory spot. They said if he would have taken the sidestep money, he would have gotten the winner of Kovalev and Canelo. That wouldn't have been a smarter move by Yarde. I would have done that. Why not fight the winner?
100%.
Let them fight it out, beat each other out, fight the winner.
100%.
Yeah. Way better business move, you know? I don't know why they advised him to take this, but
I have no idea.
Because it wasn't going to happen. That's why they didn't take it. They didn't take it because it wasn't going to happen. He wasn't going to get the winner because Canelo was going to be the winner, and Canelo ain't fighting him next.
Yeah, but if you give $1 million sidestep, I'm sure there's some kind of a contract, right? Some kind of a written language.
Well, right? I think Canelo's going to.
I mean,
I think Canelo's going to vacate the belt, like Eric said, when he wins.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. But Yarde, Canelo, that'd be a good fight, man. I think Yarde and Charlo and all these guys, they're probably at the same level. You know, it's Yarde, Charlo, Eubank, all these guys are at the same level. They haven't really separated from each other. I think it would be the same result if Canelo fought any of them. I don't think he's probably not scared, but I don't even think Kovalev's a big fight. I mean, look at Canelo versus Jacobs. That fight did like $7 or $8 million purse in Vegas. Kovalev's not a bigger star than Jacobs. I don't think so. Last time he fought at New Jersey, he sold like 2,000 tickets. So I don't know what DAZN is trying to DAZN is trying to accomplish. Because if you have an $8 million gate with Jacobs after paying Canelo $40 million almost, this game is going to be even smaller. People don't go to Vegas to watch fucking Kovalev fight. That I know much. That's how much I know. And so they need some big names like Charlo or fucking Ward to come out of retirement to recoup some of that money, because Kovalev is not going to be selling a lot of tickets. That's for damn sure. Did you guys watch Brandon Figueroa's homecoming? He had a big crowd over there in Texas. Did you guys watch that?
No, I ain't watching that nonsense.
That was one-sided, bro.
Dude, that fucking...
Come on, son.
Ryan Garcia's brother was fighting on PBC, which was kind of... Ryan Garcia's brother was on that prelim, PBC. It's kind of funny. I wonder if Ryan Garcia's coming to BBC too. He should, that's where all the good Mexicans fight. Golden Girl is fucking
Ryan
done.
Garcia's going to PBC?
No, his little brother, Sugar Rush, was on the undercard. Did you see?
Oh, okay. No,
You didn't see it?
Nope.
Did you watch the Estrada fight? Estrada?
Yeah, that was a good fight.
Who was that guy? Who was that guy he fought? That guy was freaking... I thought he was getting locked out, but that guy came to fight, man.
Dwayne Beeman, yeah. I'd like to see him fight again, man. I thought he was... I thought he gave a good account of himself. Like I said, man, he was athletic, but just wasn't as technical.
That fight reminded me of Floyd versus Chuck Foley. You guys remember that fight? It was a tricky fight. A lot of action in that fight, too. But Floyd knocked him out in the end. Floyd got hurt, too.
How come your boy Tank ain't fighting Devin?
Who?
Tank. How come he's not fighting Devin? Apparently they offered him.
What do you think about Farmer? What do you think about Farmer turning down $2 million for one fight? What do you think about that?
Same thing I think about Tank turning down $3
$4 million.
They didn't offer Tank $3 million. Tank makes $3 million himself. Why would he make? Why would he take $5 million to go to another network when he's the bigger star? Why would he go to another network when he's the bigger star?
Isn't that what they said?
They offered him, I think, in between $4 and
$5. They said they offered him $5.
I said.
So why did
Tank is making $2, $3? But Tank offered him 4 times his biggest purse. So which is the bigger offer? If you're making $500K and they're offering $2 million, why wouldn't you take that? And you're not a big star. Farmer's not a big star. If Tank fought in Philadelphia tomorrow, he'd sell more tickets than Farmer.
But if the fight is bigger on DAZN, why not fight on? If the fight's bigger on DAZN and both fighters can make more money, then why not just put it on DAZN?
Who said fight is bigger on DAZN? The fight is bigger on Fox or Showtime. That makes no sense. And they didn't offer Farmer whatever. I mean, he's making $500K, dude. You know that.
They offered
that Thomas Hauser and ESPN.
They offered Tank $5 million. And if Tank was to fight Farmer on
Beeb, he's already making more than half that on Showtime. Why would he just?
He's not.
Why would he leave Showtime when he's the biggest star? I don't get that.
Tank's making like $2 million a fight, bro.
Yeah, and they offered him two. Okay, that offer is 2 times bigger, right? And what is Farmer's
offer?
4 times bigger? I don't understand why the math doesn't. Why isn't the math working for you?
Listen, the fight is bigger on DAZN because DAZN is offering the bigger check.
$5 million.
The fight is bigger on Showtime and Fox because millions of people will watch it. No one's going to watch it on fucking DAZN.
Right, but
they're going to watch it on Fox or Showtime.
$5 million is more than $2 million.
You don't know that. You don't know what Showtime's giving him. You don't know what Showtime's giving Tank.
You're just talking in circles, son.
Dude, you don't know what Showtime's giving Tank is not what I'm saying. Why can't you get that through your head? You don't know what Tank makes on Showtime.
Let's see what Tank made his last fight.
Yeah, go ahead. There was probably like 3 times more than Farmer did, and Farmer just offered $2 million. He said, no, that's disrespectful. A $500K fighter who's fighting bums like Billy Dib on DAZN. Come on. Like, that's what
Tank got $1 million for Hugo Ruiz in his last fight. Got $1 million for Hugo Ruiz.
A tune-up. And that was in LA, Beeb, in front of 4,000 people.
$5 million for this one.
No, but you just forgot the last fight he had in Baltimore where he sold 15,000 tickets. He made like $3 million almost there.
Let's see how much he made for the Fonseca.
What don't you get? Huh?
Tank Davis. Tank Davis got $600,000 for the Fonseca fight.
What does that have to do with anything? Farmer made $500K for his last fight. Farmer makes $500K a fight on his own. He signed a 4-fight deal for $2 million.
Tank Davis has a net worth of $1.5 million right now.
Beeb, are you fucking kidding? You're Googling people's net worth? Like, that's what, like, Real Housewives do, like, those fake websites from, like, fucking Nigeria and shit. Are you kidding me? None of those websites know anybody's net worth.
Why don't you tell us what he makes? Why don't you tell us what he makes? What's his real check?
I just told you. Okay, Beeb. Why don't you Google what Gary Russell made last fight for Jojo Diaz? And that guy sold 4,000 tickets, and they paid him $1.4 million plus gate. Tank's last fight in Baltimore
Listen.
sold 15,000 tickets, and he makes the gate. So just do your fucking math. It's not that complicated.
It's real simple.
You know? Yeah, it's real
Zone's
simple.
offered him $5 million to
Farmer
fight,
got
he
offered
turned it
4
down.
times his biggest purse. Farmer got offered his 4 times his biggest purse. Tank hasn't been offered the 4
Tank got
times his
offered
biggest
$5
purse.
million. 4 to
No,
5
he just
million.
paid
They
$3 million
offered
his last
Tank.
fight.
Tank Davis got offered 5 times his biggest purse. Tank Davis got offered 5 times
No, he
his biggest
didn't.
purse.
No, he didn't. He made
Getting
way more than
roasted,
$1 million
son.
for his last fight like 3 weeks ago. What are you talking about?
No,
he
he
just won on
didn't.
Showtime 3 weeks
What
ago.
is your
Are you fucking
reaction?
drunk?
Hey, Jason.
Are you drunk, dude?
Jason,
Come on.
what is your reaction last week? Everybody said you got roasted by Montero. It was pretty unanimous. What were your thoughts on
Montero gets roasted on Twitter every fucking day. I don't know what you're talking about, dude. Come on.
that? Right, but he
That guy's
roasted
like a
you in
KKK
person.
member.
That's
Come
what
on.
happened.
That guy's like a neo-Nazi. I don't care about that punk, dude. Come on. He's like one of those Proud Boy
I
little
heard-
bitches, you know.
Listen, I was right there. I thought he got the best of you. Everybody said
On
you
what?
got
I don't even
slammed in there.
remember what he said. It was so inconsequential. What did he say? Can you refresh my memory, please? What did he say? That schooled me. It was so good.
It was more like combination, like word combinations. I mean, he was just killing you. You know what I mean? He just at every turn, he was just making a fool of you, basically.
Quit slobbering all over Montero. Come on. I know you want to go on this show really bad. Come on, Eric. Come on.
Sure. Well, who doesn't want to go on this show? You
Also,
won't
guys,
watch
what
the
happened?
show. I don't know.
Hey, did you guys bash Eddie and Matthew when Frank Warren offered him 7 figures for Calvin Smith and Billy Joe to make a pay-per-view fight, and Eddie was like, "Oh, that's not enough money. We need more. We're looking at the contract. We'll get back to you." Well, I don't remember you guys bashing him for it. That's what my problem is. Eddie can block fucking BJ, Billy, and Callum, and everybody says, "Oh, well, Eddie says there's not enough money. He thinks it's a bad business deal." When Ellaby says that, everybody questions his motives. That's kind of funny to me. When white promoters block fights, we don't question their motives. When Ellaby fucking blocks a fight, they're like, "Oh, he's bad for boxing. How dare you offer a bum like Farmer $2 million?"
Tank,
Yeah, there's a lot of racism.
Tank made $1 million.
Every day.
Tank made $1 million for Nunes too.
No, he didn't.
Yeah.
Made $1 million.
Come on, son.
No, he didn't. No, he didn't.
Tell him to take the fight.
Post it on Twitter. Post it on Twitter right now. Your source, not Fox News, like real Twitter, like the real source. You know, come on. Post your source.
Fox News.
Post your source. Beeb, are you posting on Twitter? Beeb, are you posting it on Twitter right now?
What am I gonna post? What am I gonna post?
What do you want to post?
What Tank made? What Tank made? Or just post it on my wall so I can see it. Post it on my wall so I can see it on my timeline so I can see it.
All right, this is getting boring, son. Losing your mojo.
Yes. So you think it's cool for
Losing
Tank?
your
who's
mojo,
never,
son.
Listen. If you think it's
you
cool
got about
for Farmer,
5 months to pick
who's
it up
never,
because you're caller of the year.
Shut
If
up,
you
dude.
want to repeat as
You
caller
think
of
it's
the
cool
year,
for Farmer to turn
you
down
need
the
to pick
biggest
it
fight
up.
of his career because he doesn't want to leave the zone, and he's a free agent. Farmer's
turned
not
down
even
the
with
biggest fight
the
of his
zone
career,
anymore.
too.
No, it's not.
He
Pedraza
turned
was a
down
way
the
bigger
biggest
fight.
fight
He
of his career,
won.
too.
Pedraza knocked out Farmer. Pedraza was a way bigger fight, and he knocked out Pedraza. Are you high? What the hell's your problem with you, dude? Pedraza was a way bigger fight. Pedraza knocked Farmer out. Are you fucking drunk, dude? Come on.
Oh,
Farmer got knocked out by Pedraza. You know that, right? Eric, you know that, right?
Seriously, man, you need to lay off the
You know that,
bong,
right?
man. You seriously do. You need to lay off
I need the
that
bong
son.
after you, dude. I need the bong after this fucking call. I need it.
Hugs, not drugs. All right? There you go. All right, man, we're going to let you go.
Ohio needs some.
Oh, my God, Beeb.
We offered him $5 million for a fight, and he's making $1 million a fight. So, and then
They want the fight on
and then
Showtime.
and then I heard that if the fight was on Showtime, that he'd only get $2 million.
Well, it's a classic case of we want the fight on our network, they want the fight on their network, and it's not the two fighters that are at odds. It's the promoters.
It is.
And it's the networks and everything like that. So, not one guy is not afraid of the other. Listen, I mean, they're telling him, hold out, we're going to get you more money. Hold out, we're going to get you more money. That's what
all it
comes
is.
down to. Yep, that's it. All right, guys, that'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on Twitter at JHabib1 and find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporterlive.com. On Twitter, I'm at Ringside73, and we'll see you next week.